Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to the pilot episode of what we are calling the Pokemon Arc Cast. That was a very awesome title created by our own Josh here, who is joining me in the podcast today. How are you doing, Josh?
Josh Shadow.
And I am Zamu. Look at that. Look at that luscious flow of hair you gave me there. I love how you even got the aviators, too.
Yep. We gotta make sure it's perfectly clear here.
Yeah, definitely. You did a good job. What can I tell you? Although I might have to reconsider what other Pokemon I can kind of put my
Hey,
name on.
you became Zomu the minute did and completed freaking Pokemon Blue. You need to accept that's what you are. The community called you Zomu, and that's what we ran with.
I'm
The
I'm
only
com-
person who gets to the only person who can change is Little Zom, who could be Zomu too. And we're going by the original Pokemon Red and Blue, and I guess Japanese Green origins of Mewtwo because I don't care for the watered down version much.
Mhm. I still got to get me a solidified, like an actual physical copy of Pokemon Green. I saw them for a long time on eBay, and the one set I was gonna buy from a particular seller, I guess he no longer sells them anymore, makes them anymore. But you could get like a
Talk to Hector
custom,
Collector. He hooked me up with a cart. It was like
huh?
cart only, but he had one in his collection. He saw me post that I was like interested because someone I forget I shared a post on my Twitter and it was like somebody had basically made them into N64 cards. And I was like, that's badass. I'd love to have an English, fan translated ROM unofficial cart of Pokemon Green.
I
And I
have
was
seen that too. Yeah, now that
and I
you
was
mention it.
like, I have the cart now. I'm like thinking, dude, do I want to be one of those people that find somebody who makes repro boxes and then try to find either the legit manual or a knockoff manual and just like build a complete repro like this was the actual box and never sell it for my own personal enjoyment? Or do I just be
Mhm.
happy I have the cart? Because I have the original Japanese cart too.
Yeah, I want to see I know you sent some pictures before of some cool Pokemon items in your collection. I think that'd be cool to kind of showcase that at some point.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be a while because like almost all of my Pokemon collectibles right now are packed up.
Yeah. Well, I'll be waiting because after you showed me that special promo you have, I was like, damn.
Oh, are you talking about the Celebi the one of those items that's not supposed to be in circulation, but somehow fell into circulation?
Yep.
You talking about the distribution cart? Shh,
Mhm.
you're not supposed to talk about that.
First rule about Poke Club.
Pretty much. Those though, there's certain ones that are like way like command a big freaking dollar amount.
I bet. I bet.
I
And
for, there
it's
I forget which one it is, but I think it's the one that released the special Zoroark and then the three shiny legendaries from Gen 2 that were lightning, fire, water. I'm being lazy. I don't feel like listing their names.
no problem.
I think that one command is like one of the top two most expensive ones. There's like certain ones, depending on what they have on it, is how it affects the value.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, we're talking more than just, a cart that has a not for resale sticker on it. We're talking like
Oh no,
even
it's one of
rarer than
those
that.
things. It's one of those things. If I had literally took a spare DS, I changed the date and turn time on it to think it was a certain time when it was supposed to release. I could
Mhm.
literally turn it on and be releasing more quote unquote legit versions of that special Pokemon
Ah,
for the carts that are compatible with it. Which is why
gotcha.
they were supposed to be chipper, just like BB-8s from the Target displays are supposed to be completely destroyed.
Mhm. My roommate has one of those too, the full scale size BB-8 that he got from when
Mm-hmm.
he worked at Target.
Mm-hmm.
His actually, I managed to get it working, but I don't recall if it needs like better parts or if it needs a better power supply because it worked for a while and then it just kind of like petered out.
It runs on D batteries,
Oh,
8 of
okay.
them. So Unfortunately, the strapping mechanism isn't that great. So if they're not like perfectly tight, secure, but not too tight to break the board that the thing's attached to,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna bounce out because of the way it's all mounted together.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was kind of weird how they did that display because I'm used to the configurations where it's all connected at the bottom or maybe from like a side panel, and then this one was like connected every which way, and I was like, how did you even manage to get this off in the first place?
Well, it depends on what the person, quote unquote, building maintenance person is supposed to be in
Mm-hmm.
charge, how they followed the very simple directions. I'm not even joking with you on that.
Mm,
It could
gotcha.
be straight up as simple as it came with a special little panel they were supposed to mount on the shelving unit, and then BB-8 easily just sat on it, clamped down, it was done. And they even told you in the instructions, there's this little panel you need Allen wrenches for to get to the batteries when the batteries die. There were people
Yeah.
taking the head off and shit because they didn't want to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Funny.
we are off the hinge here of not talking about Pokemon.
Hey,
Already
that's
to a
okay.
terrible start. Already to a terrible start.
It's all part of the show. We don't script, folks. We're
We
not
don't
sitting
script.
here. We're not
Well,
sitting
not
here
this one,
going.
anyone. Not this one, anyway.
Now I've already said hello in our chat, but I'm
We've
gonna
got
say hello again.
GMC here. Huh?
Yep. Did you catch them all? That depends. What game are we talking?
And we
Yo,
got Maz.
Pokemazin, how's it
I was gonna say
going?
Maz and Powers jumped in.
Zombie. I love how we're just finding ways to slap, our names on Pokemon or putting the Pokemon names on our handles. Yo, part the C, it's Moses Gaming. How you doing?
What's going on, Moses?
Hey, welcome everybody. Glad you all could be here. As
Once
the
again, we've got
description,
Zomu here and Josh Shadow.
Josh's awesome artwork here. I love it. Just giving it some display time here because I feel his artwork deserves that representation. We'll go ahead and switch to our little avatars in just a moment, but yeah, thank
Oh,
you guys
wow.
very much for being here. This was sort of sprung about from my live stream earlier today, as we mentioned briefly that if I didn't come back to stream the game, if everybody was interested in having a live interaction chat like this tonight, that we would go ahead and do so. And here we are with the awesomely named ArcCast. Thank you, Josh, for that too.
Dude, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I stole that idea simply by dropping phone off the item and left game. I was like, huh, our cast, why not?
Hey, it works.
It
It
works.
works. That's the best part. It works and it's creative. So we are going to be talking about Arceus today, but we're also going to take a look at the Pokemon Direct for those of you who may not have seen it, because we want to see what your opinions are with all the upcoming Pokemon stuff that they just displayed. What was it, about 2 days ago? A week ago?
It was on the 27th,
27th?
yesterday.
Um, and we've talked a little bit already in my live stream about some of the free promos they're giving away for this game. Of course, GameStop and all the other places are going to have reserves for Scarlet and Violet, which is supposed to release later in the year?
They said late.
Late 2022.
Yeah, they're giving them.
Which,
They're going to aim for the holidays.
yeah, no kidding.
That's exactly what they're going to do, and that's smart business because they just dropped 2 brand new Pokemon games, and they're still doing stuff for the one before both of them.
Now, the criticism that they're getting though right now is because they're releasing games so soon after the success of Arceus and the Pearl and Diamond remake. Does that mean that these upcoming games are going to be any good? Are they just going to be cut and paste from the previous stuff, or are they actually going to provide a whole new experience? So
let's see. From my experience since like day one, Red and Blue and the evolution, what's probably going to happen is we're going to see some some new creative feature they're going to try to implement. Somebody's going to data mine some info out of a promo if they little demo version if they do anything like that. It's what else is there to say on that? Usually what happens is we might get actually a Poke drought where they won't put any like major Pokemon games out. Like they'll for a while.
Yeah.
But my hope is, and I still hold on to this one, that we'll see some more use of that nifty. I loved the Pokeball mechanic feel of like the "Hey you Pikachu, hey you Eevee" controller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of hopeful that we'll see something like that come back in some form.
I would agree, because not only has that been helpful with just playing the Let's Go games, I haven't tried it on Shield and Sword, mostly because obviously I don't own them. But
I didn't know. I do own them, and I didn't really. I don't even think there's really a thing other than it's kind of like it was the option to put a Pokemon in there and take it around like a digipad almost, and then re-upload it.
yeah, so
Which it's kind of dandy if you're like hardcore, Pokemon Go. But unfortunately, I don't really. That's a game I gotta honestly. Literally have to throw money at to be able to play simply because my storage is like too small.
Yeah.
And it's like I have nothing I want to get rid of.
And that's one of the things that I've been griping about lately too is the game mechanics aren't evolving in any way. It's just here we're just going to throw new Pokemon or old Pokemon your way and give us your money.
But that's also because that's what people bitch about and they listen to their fans. Oh, I don't want to lose this Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and that's it actually hinders because then it's like, okay, yeah, to some extent they were kind of doing that. Like, let's be honest, the original intent was 2 gens. That was it. That was their original intention. Gold and Silver was supposed to be like the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Ruby, Sapphire. And then it was like, okay, people still were buying this, but Ruby and Sapphire's Pokemon, there was literally a handful of new additions to it that I was like, those are awesome. And the rest I'm like, this is incredibly lazily designed. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also the start, at least for me, where I kind of was like, is it really worth investing in right away? Like, should we just kind of see where it goes and just kind of taking it easy with Pokemon playing?
That's that's when you start seeing a surge in competitive play, because then they were putting little things like exclusive moves that you can only get from this version, but if you carry it over to this version and breed this Pokemon with it, it is now like a destroyer Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Which smart little micro business sense there, but at the same time, it's like Emerald. I'm sorry, I own Emerald. I beat Emerald. I unlocked everything in Emerald. It was the only Pokemon game, my very first one. I could not sit there and just mindlessly like, okay, I got a 8-hour car ride. I can just grind a Pokemon and be fine.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do it because it was like it felt like such a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what some of these games, some of these Pokemon games are. It's like some amazing. It will keep you coming back. You'll dump hours and not even realize it of your life into it. Then there's some it's like you play to completion and you don't feel that real itch to come back to.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it definitely happened with me because I was so into it, and then I just kind of hit a stalemate and just didn't really care for a while. Like I just kind of took it easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was kind of a mistake because all of a sudden there's just this massive rush of Pokemon stuff. And it went beyond just the games, and
Mm-hmm.
the anime's still going, the manga's still coming out, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I just took like a 2-week break.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to play catch up the entire time.
It like took a major surge. Like it was dying. It was like really close to like they were not going to do shit with it anymore. Like once it was done, it was done.
Mm-hmm.
And then a younger group came in, a younger generation came in, kind of saw it, got into it, and revitalized it. And then we get people our age who were like pretty much day oneers. When like they remember when it was coming and like any product was like super scarce. There wasn't prevalent online buying. It's like you saw something from Japan somewhere, you were like, and it was Pokemon, you were like, oh my god, I gotta have that. I don't see that here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
So this is a Pokemon Go stream that I did some time back. And unfortunately, you know, I like to say that this whole evening was slow because of technical difficulties, but this is kind of where Go is right now, where a lot of players are just not feeling the motivation to raid, to go out and experience the game. Like I literally waited around even for my local Pokemon Go crew to start raiding, and just nobody was up to it. Everybody's burnt out. The raid battles and the bosses aren't worth it. It's kind of shitty that it's going back again to where it once was.
Yeah. It's because the charm of it is not there. Like pretty much America has this weird, if you're not in a certain city, you're not going to get that big boom. It will eventually fizzle out, has another, oh, it's just something on my phone that I forgot about kind of motif. Yep. Like in Japan, if you were to go but pandemic or demic or whatever the hell you want to call it, they have, you will see literally an entire, like cops will be there keeping people out of the streets and trying to keep a hole for people that aren't standing there to do the event, the raid, so they can pass through. They will all be in there and they will be raiding the crap out of it. They'll do it so much that the game just gives up trying to control whether you get a shiny or not.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'm going to just kind of focus on the timestamp here. It took nearly 40 minutes in my live stream during raid hour to even get an invitation to a raid.
Oh,
so, wow. Yeah, and normally, whether I'm with my raid crew in Discord or I'm with the locals here, we usually are just boom, back to back, one after the other, and a complete boredom stream right here. 40 minutes in and I still hadn't gotten a raid, and then finally I got one of them, and there we go. There's me battling with Mega Aerodactyl at the time. A highly sought after Pokemon too, but what they were giving us were just terrible in terms of stats.
Oh, yeah. Because they're trying to make you farm for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's, let's see, real quick here. We've got Vash Starwin. We've got Chum Nasty that have joined into the Pokemon horde here, I guess we'll call it. Poke Horde. Poke Horde, it's that time again. Okay, you do the singing, I'll do the hard part. No. For anybody that remembers that reference.
I do.
I know
sadly,
you do.
Sadly, I still remember the Poke Raps.
I still remember them broken up into the chunklets that they were for episodes. That's how sad that is ingrained into my brain.
Mm-hmm. And then on the DVD, at the very end, you get them all slammed together, and it becomes that one big version.
Oh yeah.
So, welcome, Leo. How's it going?
We've got Victory Leo joining the Poke Horde, or is it the Zommons? I don't know.
The Zommons.
Hey, this is your channel, not mine.
The Pokezom trainers.
Nah. Nah.
Nah, I know that sounded stupid.
No. Here's what I would love to see somebody actually successfully do is petition campaign to get the original duo to now do a poke rap with every single Pokemon that is now currently in existence.
Oh, that would be tough. I'd listen to it though.
Oh, I would listen to it. I would be like, you don't even have to animate a little thing showing silhouettes like you did back in the day. I just want to literally hear this duo try to do what they did. That the full length. They weren't ever in order, so they have that in their favor.
Yeah,
But,
I'm kind of disappointed that Go has kind of taken this route, and even we just had what do they call it? Go Fest, I think.
One of their festival things, yeah, they call them
Yeah,
Go Fest or
we just
some
had we
BS
just
thing. I
had
still get
that
emails about it.
Saturday or Sunday. We just had one, and it's a paid event. So, 12 bucks gets you an electronic ticket and access to all this different shit. It was so much of a hassle that almost towards like the middle to the end of it, I almost just dropped it entirely and said, you know what, I'm going back to Arceus because I'm having way more fun with that game anyway.
Oh yeah.
And, Go can kind of suck it for now. And honestly, I don't even rate as much as I used to anymore. I do my dailies, like I get my Pokestop and my, the catch in and whatnot, and I just kind of let it sit there, and I just devote more time to Arceus, which honestly, going into it, I didn't think was gonna be as fun as
Oh,
it is now.
I had my reservations like big time on it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of those games. They're gonna get my money, and I'm gonna feel like an ass because I had to make sure I got it, and I was like, they know it's gonna be ass because they're not trying to put any like super special version out.
Right.
And nope, it was pretty good. It's actually I've played it way more than I've played the remake of Diamond and Pearl.
Which
Like
I have to
Diamond,
get my hands on still, but
that I'm
yeah,
pretty sure you can still get the 2-pack for fairly easily.
cool. I'm gonna keep my eye out
I'm
for that.
almost fairly certain Amazon still has a surplus.
I bet they do because they still have the Metroid Dread collector set that I want on there. And I plan on picking that up too once if Uncle Sam gives me what he owes me anytime soon. Um, but nonetheless, it's unfortunate that Go is where it is right now. But on the plus side, Arceus is taking off in a way that whether you're veterans of this series or not, I mean, the boom this game has created is amazing.
Yeah.
I've seen people who have never even played a Pokemon game ever pick this up. So that should tell you something that you guys did something right. And from now on, if you're gonna keep doing it, don't fuck it up.
Hey, I'm all for seeing there's plenty of quote unquote legendaries in the subcategory of legends that Arceus is in. They can definitely do a few more of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, give me Pokemon Legends Celebi. No, I'm okay with that. I don't need that in my life. I wouldn't mind, but I'm not like I need to see this.
Exactly.
Like there are plenty of other regions that they can revisit that they really haven't touched.
Oh, absolutely. And if they're gonna try to provide a lot of these different Pokemon from all these various eras, which I like. I genuinely like the time distortion thing that it's all because of breaks in the continuum that all these Pokemon from different regions are showing up. I dig that. I think that's pretty cool.
It's a neat thing. I'm just glad they're continuing the one thing they added from not Black and White. What's it? The Alolan region, Sun and Moon, the region variants. Do I wish they would come up with more than a handful at a time? Yes. Do some of them very much kind of miss, but then you think about kind of what it's based off of, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I happen to like a lot of the artistic choices they made with not only just the presentation of the game but the Pokemon in general. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the region variants, a lot of them look really cool and some even better than their original counterparts. And as I've said before in my live streams of the game, which we've got going right now, just for background noise here, um, I love the sort of fantasy Mononoke feel this game gives me because it's so badass to be in a past civilization rather than a modern one that all the games take place in.
Oh yeah, there's the fun of some of these little noble lords, little caretakers. When you look at them, you're like, okay, so that's such and such as could be such and such's ancestor from this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even as far as Team Rocket, we're already kind of getting a glimpse of that. Like, is this how Team Rocket got started? So there's just all these cool tie-ins that they've done, not only with the remake of Diamond and Pearl, but all the previous games too. Which I thought, again, a nice touch for them to include that,
They
because maybe it'll pique the curiosity more, you know.
Yeah, one of the big things why I recommend this game is, and this is I know this is a big bitch thing from competitive circuit, is it's way almost simple back to the very beginning. You don't have to so much stress, oh, perfect IVs to the nature, perfect EVs, all this crap. You don't have to stress that as much. It's like you just find a nature you like. They pretty much combined EVs and IVs together into a simple, get this stupid rock, feed it X amount of times to this number, then you have to use this stupid rock to feed it to this number, and it's a max of 10. Where it's like you have pretty much genuine good control. And there's not as many goddamn different freaking moves. Only thing I wish they would have gave us was breeding.
Yeah.
That, I feel, was kind of messed up not to give us. They didn't have to go that far back.
Right. Maybe that's something that we'll get to in DLC, because
possible. I was almost certain they were going to give us some sort of more major DLC announcement than quote unquote life enhancements.
Yeah.
And then the big thing is the new version of Outbreaks, which I can tell you affected the Outbreak shiny hunt trick that everyone was doing for a while, that I had just finally figured out how to do, and it was like, nope, you don't get to now. So I haven't gotten to do the massive mass outbreak. Yeah, I'm not far enough in the game, I guess, to have that happen yet.
Oh, I see.
But as far as like your standard outbreak now, if you were to do the thing originally where everyone was saying save in town first when it's the one you want, then go into the camp and, save there first, and then for reroll, or what they called reseeding, if you didn't see a shiny in the whole thing. Yeah, now if you do that trick, it just goes. It doesn't stay there. If you go. So Nintendo caught wind, or Game Freak, Nintendo, whoever you want to say, or Pokemon Company, and that was part of the patch when they did the new version of the outbreaks.
So they eliminated our ability to reseed them.
Pretty much, but then I've seen people, like, with how that massive work, pull like 2 or 3 shinies out of it. So it's not like you're totally getting screwed. It's just pretty much what me and you were saying from the get-go in conversations we've had. People giving a bunch of information out their ass, and none of it was super consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that really cool talk about that.
And then here comes, XYZ Nintendo, who says, yeah, all these assholes who are trying to break our game, guess what? We're going to fix that because we had a plan to give you guys new shit anyway.
So let me ask you this, and let me ask the chat what their thoughts on this are as well, or is as well. Do you think that when content creators make videos like that, where they show you what they think is hacking the game or breaking the game, do you think that's actually more hurtful than beneficial?
On certain things, yes. On certain others, no. It depends on what they're revealing and how you phrase it. You know what I mean? Saying a known, excellent, amazing, trusted data miner, quote unquote, figured this out. That shit right there is a trigger phrase. I don't care what you say. A bot is going to pick that shit up and is going to check out what you're talking about. Going to look at your examples and everything.
There we go.
And then they're going to be like, because there's shit you don't want people doing. Like, nobody wants somebody probing into their code and all this work They had sat there and paid a bunch of people to do.
Right.
And then spent money to have this mass produced and then sold and gone through all that rigmarole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm just curious as to whether or not that actually does.
It does affect things.
Yeah, like does it do more harm than good in that regard?
I mean, there's games that because somebody left a back door open, that's how people were like early modding consoles and shit through it. Like the PS2 in America, a cheap one there was a version of 007. Like you just had to get your game to a certain spot, have a memory card, and then set it at this exact point, and you could play import games without having to like do any physical modification to your system. You just had to. Well, actually, I take it back. There was like one where you had to basically do a simple pinning trick to stop the latch from detecting it was open and shutting the game down. But it was like that was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the problem with people who mod and do that kind of shit is they don't play the waiting game.
No.
They go right when it's new, right when the focus is hard on. And then it's like simple people like you and me who are enjoying it that just want to kind of have an idea of how it works. Kind of get fucked for it. Because then the game gets that much harder than it was because they were being nice. Let's be honest. They did not have to be super nice about how fast you can gen a shiny.
Nope.
They could have left it alone and like, you just got to get a shiny charm.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And for those of you who don't play Pokemon Go, trying to get a shiny even in that is a pain in the ass. Yeah. It takes specific community days to be able to pop a shiny pretty quickly. And even then, you got to hope that the stats that you get from your shiny are actually worth, leveling. Otherwise, it just becomes trade bait. And then you got to hope.
A nice little pretty thing you have in your looky what I have been.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because even nowadays, which was one of the reasons why a lot of people shiny hunted, bragging rights out the window. Nobody cares.
Shiny hunting shinies have always been just straight up bragging rights. That game evolved to something nasty.
Yeah, it did. It did. And
it became now. Watch me stat out of an amazing super shiny. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
It's true. I didn't even. By the time that I even caught up with everything, it was like, what are y'all talking about shiny hunting? Then it's like, oh, you're talking about those random rare ass occurrences where a Pokemon is not the color it normally is.
Yeah. Color. It's like, here's a different colored one.
And most of them not even for the better. Like some of them look worse in shiny form, like Chansey. I can't stand.
I have a shiny Chansey, and in this one, its color, I swear, if I did not quickly notice it was a little off color and saw the little star animation, I probably would have missed my chance to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just garb.
Yeah, it's ugly. It doesn't look. It looks
none
nothing.
Of these evolutions shiny look good. I mean, hell, you got the Happiny and you didn't even notice it, and you're like, wait, is that shadow or is that actually a shiny?
Yeah.
Because you were launching Pokeballs, and the Pokeball, some of its animation has a little star that pops at the end, like fireworks, and those stars can get buried under that kind of graphic.
Yep. Look at today even, I not only got the shiny Wurmple, which I only noticed because I heard the sound cue, and I think the little stars went above it.
Dude, last night I almost missed a shiny because I had the flying mount in this game. So I'm like cruising along, just, trying to run tasks and shit to murder this with this or whatever. So I'm just flying by because I know a spot where I can catch Turtwigs in the Crimson Mirror. And all of a sudden I hear that I'm up in the air. I can't really see because it's pouring haze, rain, bullshit storm. I hear this thing, but there's a tree canopy over where I hear this. I'm like, where the fuck was I? Oh, it was a shiny male combi. I'm like, thank God, for some reason I had felt the need before I flew this way to save.
Nice.
Because when I finally found what the hell was shiny, I was like, he was right in front of me where I landed, and he like ran like a little bitch. So at first I was like, I didn't even get to see its gender. His ass was already flying away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally found what the hell was shiny, and I was like, he was right in front of me where I landed, and he like ran like a little bitch. So at first I was like, I didn't even get to see its gender. His ass was already flying away. good luck getting a freaking shiny female, it seems like. That is like fucking impossible.
Well, it's time consuming just trying to get a female Combi in general. Add to it, shiny
The
alpha.
ridiculous low level fucking that it is to be female.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Trust me, I've caught more females in this game than I have in Go. I can promise you that.
Oh, dude. There was a minute where anytime it was female, I was just catching it because of every iteration of this game that Combi has been in. It is such a pain in the ass to get a female. And they're the only Pokemon in every game that has the ability to fucking just run. Faster than you can blink, sometimes it feels like.
Mm-hmm. And then you're over here chucking jet balls at them from a distance, hoping they don't spot you, and then just take off. Ugh.
Oh, dude.
But again, is that really like, is that really a game killer, or is that just part of what we sign
That's
up
part of the
for?
challenge. Just one of those how bad do you want it kind of moments.
Yeah, because that's another thing I wanted to bring up today. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday night, I saw this video somebody put out explaining the hardest Pokemon to get in this game, the hardest researches to do in this game. And I kind of laughed, mostly because
We
some of the
cracked
ones
them.
we cracked them in like 5 minutes. And then also some of the Pokemon that were being complained about, it's like, look, they're not that difficult. You just got to know
Where to
where they
go.
are, yeah, and what the limitations are. Like the biggest one that was bitched about, and I say bitched about because it had one of the longer segments, was Abra. And
Okay, that one I have a little bit of a legit bitch too because they're annoying as fuck and they have the weirdest fucking aggro range.
mhm.
I can fly over them and they teleport. I'm like good distance. I can't even see them, but I saw their little bright red marker barely in them teleporting. I'm like, how the fuck did they see me when I didn't even see them?
Yeah. But on the plus side of things,
You,
shouldn't you kind of expect that from a psychic Pokemon though?
well, that's always been a thing. Hell, it's been the general text of it since the fucking very beginning that they bolt.
Yeah, they do.
That is literally the only move. Majority of the time, only move they would know is teleport. If you even engaged one and didn't run away to begin with. This
Moses is asking, is there a strategy guide for this game? I would say the only strategy guide you really need.
YouTube, YouTube. That's it. And any dumb fucker on a website that seems to be like, "Hey, this is how." If you specifically ask how to do something.
Yeah. I've not really had any issue with figuring out most of this on our own, and even if we do, those of us in the Discord have exchanged ideas and kind of shared, well, here's what I do, here's what I'd suggest. Um, I'd say if there's anything that could kind of give you a general idea of what can help you in the beginning is just knowing the Pokemon, knowing how they're gonna act, what types they are.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that's just the basic info. But I've not seen a full blown, thorough, strategy guide on this at all.
The only things I've ever really looked up out of like super curiosity, like it's like actually something to progress the game, was I was curious about one of the Frenzied Lords. You're not to him yet, but that motherfucker is super fucking cheap. I got so pissed off, I just stopped and I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck enough about this right now. I keep getting pissed off.
Right.
And I've got plenty of deck shit I can work on.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious,
Yep.
'cause I was noticing something, a pattern, and I was like, okay. I noticed this pattern. I was getting the pattern down. Then once his little aggro thing style of attack changed because fucking, his life bar diminished. So now we've got to step up a game like it's a goddamn Twitch fucking space shooter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was like, holy shit. The last time before I was like finally super pissed, where I was like ready to snap a controller, was because literally I had him like I was zoned in, and all of a sudden it like said, "You didn't put the input in time to dodge," and it literally kept me on my ass and was counting like all these like over ridiculous top of each other attacks he was doing on me, and like said I died. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Right.
It's like, this is ridiculous. And it's like everything I looked on this just to see if I was right. It's like, he's incredibly cheap. Avoid this and that. I'm like, dude, I have compromised hands. I think I do pretty fucking okay. And even if I didn't, I'd be like, this is some major fucking bullshit. And your suggestion of the best approach to handle this dodge technique is complete bullshit to me, because I've been doing just fine left, right, not none of this crap of rolling into it and hoping he doesn't hit me.
I think that's also one of the things that we should probably share with those of us who are playing the game too. Be weary of where you get your information from,
Always
because
source more than one. Always watch more than fucking at least 5, because there's a good chance they all are not doing their homework and they're sharing each other's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I've come across that a few times with how to spawn shinies and how to do outbreaks. And I sat there and tried those methods going, nope, this is all crap.
The only thing out of all these like big Pokemon gamer fucking channels that was any kind of fucking consistency, I was finding is you may have to do this for hours at a time. Now, if you're going to show how to do something, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay, makes sense that you would cut to it actually being effective, but at least show you tried more than fucking once, and then just hard cut to, oh, look, I was doing this trick. I caught this.
Yeah, and not showing how long it took just to even get that thing to
just
pop.
fucking mention it like very quickly offside. That's bullshit to me. I'm like, it only took me 4 hours. Okay, well, I didn't need to see 4 hours of footage necessarily running at a 4 hour time, but at least some evidence of you trying for 4 hours would have been nice.
Yeah, it adds to the validity. Like, we don't have to see every second for how long it took you, but some kind of proof that, hey, I realistically attempted this and this is how long it took, but I got it to work.
Yeah, I mean, you can only trust your word so much. That was the thing that was like really pissing me off when I was trying to figure out everyone saying the easiest way to get a shiny is fucking the outbreaks. Okay. Well, I don't have flying, so I should be able to still get there since it's not super based. I mean, one key element that only one motherfucker out of all those how-to videos mentioned, which I think was important, is your outbreaks are based on what you've caught.
Yes.
None of these people that are giving these how-tos were saying early in the game, we're giving that one piece of information. So you're leaving people believe it's just completely random what Pokemon shows up. No, it's completely random on which one it selects from what you have.
Yep.
It's not what
completion is a big thing.
Yeah, they still make them to a point, but most of the time they're what's called in the industry as coffee table books now for strategy guides. They're generally, that book you'll get because you think it looks nice, hardbound, comes with a couple little like extra little nifty little knickknacks or whatever. But as far as like being reliable information, I don't trust most of today's strategy guides. Hell, before they went out, I would buy certain ones simply because I wanted to see the artwork in them. Nothing more. I'll be real with you on that. Like some of the Pokemon ones, I'm glad I have. I bought them simply because when I was still going to GameStop to pick up things, back when my GameStop was still trying to be a GameStop, not Hot Topic with some games. And fucking trying to push fucking Funko Pops like they're goddamn crack cocaine at me. I would get them if I had a little extra money in my pocket, because like, okay, well, today only while you're picking your game up, it's this price. Like, well, damn, that's good, and I can get this fancy one. Fuck yeah. As opposed to the floppy one, which was like, eh.
Yeah. This chat about strategy guides in general has I kind of raised the question about, do you remember how there used to be a variety when it came to strategy guides? It used to be like the official Nintendo licensed or Primas, or you
I
had all
remember
these
that.
different you had all these different brands, and then like you mentioned, you could also get like the fancier ones if you're willing to shell out more money. So there's the paperback, there's the hardback deluxe copy, and then the super duper comes with coasters and pens and
The hardback stuff really didn't come, honestly, I think come until way later in the game, when internet was really killing the strategy guide business.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it was like, okay, if we make this fancy, hardback cover, people will buy this because it's something to put out and kind of look cool. Or there was that big surge of YouTube's wild days of internet video game personalities that were building their little stage background. So your chances of being like, hey, free advertisement because they like the way this looks, was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I used to go for like the most recent one I bought, and is probably the last one I've bought. When Sun and Moon was getting launched, you could buy this complete deluxe box set, really nice, from Target. I put my reserve down for one of those, and I still have it. Really nice set. But honestly, it's just glorified stationery and a nice hardback strategy guide. That's really all it is.
It's a conversation piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was thinking about, when did strategy guides fall into that category? Because most of the time it was just
DS.
games.
When Nintendo DS came out, that's about when they started doing that. Because pretty much floppy pretty much died after PS2. And let me tell you, there were plenty of games that GameStop lost my business on, because I would do the call and say, hey, do you have this game in this guide? Because there were certain games I was feeling that nostalgic of wanting to be, my childhood of looking like in a Nintendo Power or whatever, and trying not to use the internet for fucking everything.
Yeah.
I would go there, oh, we have the game, but we don't have the guide. Nope, not buying it. I told you specifically I was not going to buy this expensive ass game if you didn't have that. Oh, come on, no. Well, you just wasted your time looking for this game in the back. I don't care. You're wasting my time not having my time, money, and energy. Not having what I specifically called you and said, hey, I talked to you. I haven't got your goddamn names written down.
Coming into the store in like 20 minutes to pick this up. Yep. I've been there.
I mean, I asked you specifically, do you have this physically in your hands? Not, letting you just look at the computer and the computer said, yeah, we have it. No, I want you to physically have hands on it.
Yep.
I want you to damn near tell me what it feels like.
And truth be told, I would not be surprised that that's also going on with Arceus right now too, because someone had mentioned, and I also heard this in the Rage Brothers stream, because I watch them, daily whenever they do their streams in the mornings and in the evenings. And it was brought up in the morning, one of their morning streams, that trying to get a physical copy of Arceus right now is very difficult. And it's already being scammed on online sites, eBay, Mercari, all those.
Dude. Pokemon games have really become a scam market.
Yep. They have. And
because certain ones will fucking be that way. Switch games in general, it's a huge racket.
Yes.
And they have a huge one of Switch's biggest problems, and I'm here to tell you from experience here, because some of the times when I do odd jobs, people pay me in games. That's like how my collection has grown, honestly. It's like, I don't believe in being this asshole. It's like, well, I just did work. Now you gotta pay me physical cash. I don't care how you get it. Your kid can starve.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I went from like literally having like maybe 10 games to like having now like a small like Huggies diaper box filled of fucking just Switch games. Because they're
Nice.
they're like fucking potato chips. You get one, and then before you know it, the bag's empty. But in this case, it's the kind of reverse of that. It's next thing you know, you have a pile of them. You're like, oh, what the fuck? And it's because they've got that illusion they don't take that much space.
Yeah.
It's not like fucking, you know, PS2. Like if you want to have every PS2 game, well, you better have a room just for PS2. If that makes any sense.
It does. I've heard all about the scams that have involved Switch games just within the last 2 years, and all the reproductions that are flooding the market and being labeled as authentic copies, and paying top dollar for what they think is the actual game, and it's just a complete rip off, or you don't even get anything at all. And I mean, I shouldn't be surprised by that because we run into that collecting retro cards, retro discs. So it's no surprise.
Let's not talk about the retro collecting thing. How that bubble's about to pop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna pop worse than the anime bubble. And I can speak from that. I can speak from experience on that one. So I'm a huge anime manga, tokusatsu, Japanese animation, fan. Even like their import movies, I enjoy them. I collect them. I, for a minute, was on hard times, so I became one of those things that everyone despises, a reseller on certain ones. But I wasn't that guy that bought every fucking thing or went out of my way to find like the most rare version and charge a fortune for it. Mm-hmm. I have a business degree. I'm realistic. My goal, and how I approach shit like that was, I want to at least get a little more than what I put into it.
Right.
And I always made sure my shit was in good quality. I didn't fucking just say, oh, well, I know it's rare. If you want it bad enough, you'll buy this price. What happens is too many motherfuckers get ideas of, because yes, when you resell, you want to find that fucking sucker that's going to give you this price. Like, oh, somebody bought this rare Super Mario Duck Hunt game, and they paid $2,000 for it. Why did they pay $2,000 for it? All of a sudden, people throw out all this bullshit information that wasn't true. No one does the big work of, it was a sealed fucking original, had the original tag on, it had nobody's price sticker on it. Super minty, somehow fucking survived. Wasn't smash damaged or anything. Like, had a perfect 10 rating. As is. It was just dusty.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody bothers to look to see if that $25,000 actually got paid. Like, the deal went all the way through. Because it was auctioned. But because somebody reported, and then somebody bigger fucking word of mouthed it out, now everybody thinks that they have something worth that. And right now the gaming community is really doing that bad. Like, way worse than the anime bubble did. The anime was just too much too fast. And it was quantity over quality, and that's what hurt it. Like, there's people I see post pictures like in my Twitter feed of making jokes like, last week this vendor seems to have marked it up, like everything up by 100%. And I was like, yeah, because somebody told them some bullshit, or some internet personality that's got a decent following put out some bullshit reward bounty that they probably wouldn't really pay for something, and they heard about it, and now they think they have gold.
Uh-huh.
Like, a prime example, when I was able to travel to this little local flea market, you could go there and find decent deals. There were like literally in what's called like basically trash alley. There were people with like Super Nintendos that thought they had $500 system. And all it was discolored. You could tell it had been in like the garage and shit under the sun. Had a controller, and it had a sun-faded Super Mario World in it. None of the plugins or anything, and they're wanting $500. I'm like, nope,
Not happening.
This is some motherfucker that saw some shit on eBay or something and thinks they have gold.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the motherfucker who has one of the little mini store setups that you can rent out, who buys and scams children, let me tell you, of their stuff. Like, I watched him. You brought up, I believe, Pokemon Platinum at some point. Maybe it was we were talking earlier, or it was in
Yeah.
one of your streams.
I mentioned that that's the one game that I passed up on that I wish I had.
The one that got away. I watched him, basically a kid trying to sell a card. He wanted a different game. The kid points out that the guy in the case has it loose for way higher than what he's asking. And his justification was garbage to me. And I was like, he didn't even see me walk into his little place. So he didn't even see me where I was. And of course, he's the type that doesn't mark everything in his little retro game store. And I asked him a price on something because I noticed he had the gold Zelda Wiimote. I'm a decent Zelda fan. Like, Zelda is one of my favorite game series. I'm not going to lie on that one. But that's also a series that has entries. I don't care how good the story is. I can't stand the art style. I don't play. Oh. Like, everybody has that big to do with Wind Waker. I am one of those people. I love the story of Wind Waker, but I hate the art style. And I will never play that game because of its art style. But I asked him a price. This motherfucker whips out his phone to go on eBay, and then 2 separate printout spreadsheets from 2 different places he goes for pricing his things. I'm like, what type of bullshit is that? You need to have your prices ready, not fucking whatever the market currently is, or you're not going to succeed. Then he had the nerve, while we're talking, to bitch about how he's not going to sell modern systems anymore because he's losing too much money. I'm like, you do realize a lot of these newer games, you shouldn't take in like Call of Duties and shit because they give you the ability to download a version directly off the fucking disc. So no wonder you're getting taken, you dumb bitch. It's called, you need to know the industry. Know what your product is. Know what you're dealing with. Why you're losing money on all these is because somebody's taking you for a ride and you're not keeping up with the times. It's like simple fucking, literally, dude, if you're so into it with your little Googling prices and shit, you should be looking up that kind of thing. Hey, is this a game that says, or even some of them even say it right on the packaging, Can download right on it. But I will say Monkey did get over on him one time, though, and I was proud of him for that. But like for a minute when we were able to go, he was like, every time he saw me, he'd be talking to me like I was his friend about that. I'm like, I've got 2 giant storage units full of games I don't even have here. I'm like, then fuck, dude, let me go through there and find some games. Hell, I'll help you move some fucking shit around. You can pay me a few games that I have a few games I want. They don't even have to fucking work, and I'd be happy to have them.
Yep, even just as a great display piece.
Shit, dude, I will fucking be happy to have. We've got Hugo dropping in. Hugo Saw Video Game Nerd. What's going on?
Hey, Hugo, how you doing?
Now, anime figure market, let's not even go into that can of worms. That shit's fucking always been a price mess, but I understand why it is.
So you're talking more than just, import fees and things of that nature.
Oh, dude. In Japan, how things like that work is they will very much like a limited edition item. When they say limited edition, they don't fuck around. That means when they say there's only 100 of them, there's only 100 of them. That's all they make.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who legit will camp out in front of stores that will sell it just to get it, okay? But it's because it depends on who manufactured it, whose name's attached to the sculpt design that they used. I mean, it's a big fucking racket. I have very few figures I display or even have collected still in their boxes because it's like basically toy collecting, but for the adult collector kind of shit. It's
Yeah.
very much how much are you willing to pay to have it kind of deal.
Is it more, would you say it's more cutthroat, or would you say it just requires a bit more finesse and knowledge base?
It's bit of column A, bit of column B. Like you
Gotcha.
want to be as educated as you can on something when it comes to that. Like, and you got to be very like on a specific series. Like for a minute there was what was it? Like Hentalia or something where basically there were anime characters based off of nations.
Mhm.
That was super hot for like a minute, and then one day it turned off. Like people were getting stuck with merch they thought was worth like hundreds of dollars was now nobody wanted it, nobody cared about it. They can't even give it away, you know?
Wow.
It's very you gotta know your shit. It's one of those markets why I don't waste the brain power too much. It's like if I want a certain character and I see the sculpt, it's like, okay, I need to educate myself on particularly why that is commanding that price. And make sure that it's coming from this place, not fucking this place. And if it's coming from this place, how real does it look for that price? Like any Fire Emblem figure, China knockoffs are very fucking prevalent. Oh my god. And they try to get big money too, like they're the real deal. And they always try to pull this shit of no box. It's like, no, Kimosabi. I'm sorry, you're selling a figure everyone else says it's in Japan or in America is saying, hey, I want this kind of money, and you're trying to say starting bid $2. I'm gonna be like, wait a fucking minute. Am I wrong here?
So it sounds like it almost sounds like you have to know your stuff, and most of the time it sounds like an impulse buy. Like if you have the money, you just buy it if you know what it is, if you
It's
know.
instant gratification.
Okay.
That is what a lot of collecting is. That's like part of the problem with this happening to retro game collecting. Is like you go to a con now, you can't always find a deal, and then you've got people like I'm gonna name drop here for a minute. They'll probably come after me if they don't like what I have to say. Like the Game Chasers, they showed like their last episode. They went to a Toy Con there, like I think it was Toy Chasers or whatever that one of the two. And one
Yeah.
of their friends, who's a big vendor, started in their movie and everything, hooked them up. You know, but even then, they still they still mentioned like how fucking prices are getting out of fucking control.
Yeah. So you almost have to have that hookup in order to just make it when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
collecting.
You either have to have a hookup, a friend, or be willing to just shell the fuck out.
Yeah. And that's
And when
something
you're,
that.
go
Oh,
ahead.
good. No, I was just going to jump to a different point, but go ahead.
It really when it comes to going to cons, it comes to buying certain things like that. With the internet market and everything, it's all about instant gratification. That's what kills cons, honestly, is and I don't care who the fuck you are, what you are, when you go to sell at a convention or a garage sale or hell, even at the supermarket itself, you are banking whether this product moves on instant gratification versus need. And most times with things like you can literally now with a cell phone whip open Amazon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at a price and sit there, and there's even a calculator, so it's not like you got to close that page. You can just like swipe over for a minute and swipe back, look and
Yeah.
figure out the number. Wait, so if I wait 3 days, I can get the same thing for $50 less than if I buy it right now. They basically are having to bank on instant gratification and nostalgia glasses.
Yep. I would agree, because that is one of the, on a whole, that's definitely what's part of what's affecting retro collecting. And also, since we are discussing Pokemon here, that is definitely the thing affecting getting Pokemon games from the earlier days, because of the fact that everyone is banking on nostalgia glasses. Oh
Oh
well,
yeah.
if you knew what this was, then you're gonna get like a much higher price. You almost have to feign ignorance in some cases, but you also have to be weary of that because you have to know
Mm-hmm.
who you're dealing with too.
Mm-hmm. You've got to size up who you're working with. Let me tell you, I've done majority of my friendships have began and hell, even a few of my romantic fucking relationships began and ended with Pokemon. One of my exes, literally, our relationship lasted as long as it did because she wanted to beat me in a battle. And she could not do it. I even
Wow.
tried to deliberately let this person win. I like deliberately was making move choices, okay? I picked the word like complete opposite to her team and she couldn't do it.
Nice.
Okay? And yeah, it's like Pokemon hold a very dear thing, and it's part of that video game thing. Like I've made longtime friends based off of simply playing a singular game that like not many people even thought others would play, kind of shit.
Mhm.
And since I'm seeing a time distortion, as I've been playing my game this whole time we've been conversing, hey, I told you before when you pinged me with a link that I'm in the middle of working on my decks.
Hey,
So
no judgments here.
in Arceus, how time distortions work is there's a timer internally in the area you're in. So it could be 20 minutes, it could be 40 minutes, it could be an hour before one pops. Like saying, oh, we've discovered one. Now, whether it's actually actively going at the time depends on how fast you get to it and all that. But generally, there's one special Pokemon that only shows up in time distortions, and there's 3 of them. Now, whether you kill, catch, or they flee, that's up to you. But you can't save lock them because it's based off an internal timer. And that's also where you get
time distortions. You can't save lock. Is that
you cannot save. Nope, there's no save lock.
Okay.
So say I was to save and turn off my game because I saw, let's say for the sake of argument, because there's this Haunter in front of me right now. It was a shiny Haunter, and I didn't want to risk losing it. And I turned my game off. Nope, it's gone because it's part of that time distortion coding. Now, when it pops, it's also kind of affected by the weather a little bit. Like the timer can be delayed or accelerated. And you are a big ass alpha Sneasel, and I'm gonna catch your sorry ass because you're pissing me off.
I hope to see that picture.
Well, it depends on whether I let my Goodra fucking knock its ass out, because I'm pretty much on a you get this many times to get in a ball or I fuck you up kind of mission.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing I enjoy. Like, as you progress through the game, certain balls, it just becomes easier to say, fuck it, I'll just buy it. Then once you get, like, good money engines going, then there's some where it's like, you just need, especially if they're a Pokemon that it's like, well, shit, you can either get in the ball or die because I need the data for both.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately for Haunter, I have a perfect page on Haunter now. So Haunter decided to join in on the fucking battle and is now going to mercilessly be slaughtered by my freaking Goodra.
And that's another plus of this game too that I've tended to highlight when I stream it is even the smallest contribution that you provide will eventually help in the game. You think
That's the thing about Pokemon community. There's the competitive dickwad, which I ran around a lot of those before I retired from that scene, which will all sit there and want to use the same fucking cookie cutter formula, where it becomes basically who can whip their dick out faster. That is literally what it is. And there's versions. Like one of my childhood best friend, when he was big into it, That motherfucker didn't matter what it was, what Pokemon it was. He somehow did like in Magic, being a blue player, where it's like you could put your fucking deck down, walk away, go to the bathroom, go get something to eat, come back, and he's still doing something, and you're completely shut the fuck down.
Wow.
Kind of shit, where it's like it kills the fun. And as I'm being old enough, wise enough, I guess, or sage mode, as you'd like to put it sometimes with me, I look at this and I'm looking at the younger people trying to get into it. It's like, that's not fucking healthy. You're
Nope.
killing people who want any chance of other people wanting to just enjoy it because you want to be that badass number one personality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people will be like, "Oh, how come I don't find you like on the competitive world tournaments and shit?" Those take fucking money, okay? Straight up. And I don't have money to go to Hawaii or fucking other places and miss work and all that. Which, you know, when you're younger and you're still doing that shit, you're like, well, I'll just pay with my own job money. Then you find out jobs don't just necessarily let you drop everything to go to a fucking video game con, okay?
Nope.
Or tournament. And then you get because you realize you're like, well, I have my own money, I can buy this now. You still have to pay with that somehow, right? Fucking, I swear to God, I love my mother, but I feel like sometimes she knew that was going to happen because she would say, well, when you have the money, you can do that. And it was like she fucking knew that shit wasn't going to happen. You know? Like, just waiting for that playing that long game. And I know every parent does it. That long game of like, they're going to see that it's not that easy.
Yeah. Yep, that sort of, you know,
But
tough.
no.
I don't want to say tough love, but that dose of reality.
That waiting for the shoe to drop kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there was many a person I know that ended up getting picked because they could spend that money, even though I whipped their ass in the tournament and I said I can't go. So like, well, then you're not first place or whatever. Then I'm like, well, fuck you too. I came for the experience, bitch.
Do you see that? Do you see that
ahead.
happening with this game at all?
No, that's why that's a majority of people, competitive players, bitch about, because you removed breeding, you've limited the number of moves. There's not Pokemon powers. It's like, yeah, I kind of like the almost back to basics kind of version of this game. Hell, Pokemon Go totally brought this shit to get. Brought Pokemon, helped bring Pokemon to younger people. Hell, I remember, God rest my sister's soul, when she was filling up to it, we literally would go on road trips to other towns as long as she could hold up, and we'd just go catching Pokemon. We would literally go in the car, go to some historic places that, for whatever reason, had really fucking crazy Pokemon. And we just go catching Pokemon, having fun. She wasn't the biggest Pokemon fan, but she got into it because that game, it was like something to do, something fun. But
I'm wondering if that's something that they're going to later implement, if the outcry for it is there, or if they'll just kind of leave it alone. Because I agree too. I like that we've gone back to basics and added the free roaming aspect to the game.
which I feel like was the compromise there. It's like you don't have a huge ass roster, but because we're trying something very fucking new, they kind of did it with Sword and Shield, but not to this degree.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and
then that's another game that is on that list of. I played a good chunk of it, and then just one day I was like, eh. I've had my fill. And by the time I got to it was like, oh look, here's this last expansion DLC for these new Pokemon. It's like a little late, a little too late. But I still bought the expansion. But it was like a little too late to keep me super like going back constantly.
Yeah, this game has definitely reinvigorated the the memories and the prior experiences I've had with the very first cart, and I think that's one of the selling points for me, and also why I recommend it for people who have never played a Pokemon game, because if you don't want to play retro but you want a similar experience, this is a great way to get started on that. I can't speak highly enough about the game. Does that mean it's perfect? No.
No game's ever perfect.
No. But I feel that compared to previous Pokemon titles and also what we've got out there just in general, this is top 10 material here. And that can be said without nostalgia goggles.
Oh, this game is like a huge seller for Switches. Like, it resurged people buying Switch consoles.
The same way they claim that Animal Crossing did during the start of the pandemic.
No, pandemic surge Switch sales, not Animal Crossing. I'm gonna clear that shit right the fuck up. Because there was a point when I had my little extra, money where I could have bought myself a second Switch for the house, instead of sharing the one I had at the time with Monkey, which I still have half ownership of.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, they were gone. I knew people in retail. I still good friends with a majority of people I worked with at retail businesses I'd been to. And it was literally, we all had the same fucking thought here. It's because there's two types of people buying them. There are people who were like, I'm going to try to be a streamer. It's so plug in, ready to go for hookups to streaming. It's ridiculous. There's no extra. It's very minimalist, which apparently is a thing, where you don't have to have 20 wires running to and from shit. It's like maybe 3 or 4. You don't have to have like a special converter or worry about any of that kind of crap. There's no you don't have to turn anything off. I mean, plus for some of us, the dockable Switch, not the Switch Lite. Switch Lites were very plentiful to find. It was the regular docking Switch where you could you could take it on the go or plug it and play it on a big TV. Those were the ones that were hard to find.
Yeah. And for good reason too. I talked to Kitty Bat the other day when we were at Walmart and we were looking at Switch Lites, and I said, I'd be willing to buy one of these if they cut the price in half, maybe at $100, because I don't like the fact that DriftCon Drift is still a thing.
Oh no, Switch Lites, you can still get little controllers and do like you would with a regular Switch, but to some extent it's like, well, you're almost missing the fucking point.
Yeah.
But here's my prediction for this. Once the Switch gets to its end of life cycle for product, where the mod scene is going to really, people who want to mod a Switch and everything are going to feel more safe to do it. We're going to see an uptick like we did with the Wii U, where all of a sudden everybody's going to want one.
Just for the sole purpose of modding?
Just because you'll be able to mod, and because of what it is, it's going to have a better screen. It's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to be another one of those. You can probably somebody will have already made some OS operation system to run older shit onto. It's going to be a thing. That's never going to go away. It's just a matter of how brazen and daring people are going to be at the time about it when they're all going to jump on the wagon. Now, the Switch I have is like completely solely mine that I've been playing on. The people I cared for that hiatus, they bought me one as a gift because they heard, I share one with Monkey. And they're like, that's bullshit, and surprised me with it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That to me, that was a huge deal. There's people, unfortunately, like the newer generations that just are like, oh, okay. It's like, do you not understand how big a deal that is? I mean, it's not like it's a fucking $10 meal at McDonald's or something. That's like part of somebody's rent almost. Come here, little Gigantoshinx. I want to fuck up your day. Stupid ass little Shinx got in the way. Okay, well, you chose death. That's fine by me. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. I have a perfect page, so little Shinx can die because he's not shiny. That's the other thing that annoys the shit out of me is as many times as I've went like mercy killing freaking Magikarps for the sake of argument here, because they're like the easiest thing to do some of those tasks with. Like, see a move that just does a stat, either a stat buff or a staff debuff 20, 40, 80 times. Super easy to just sit there and do. The thing that fucking, oh my god, on the only thing I will bitch Dex entry wise that I fucking hate is the catch a light specimen one. Like heavy specimen,
Yeah.
I don't seem to have a problem. That's just like easy drop. Light ones, it's like you will overcatch trying to fill that one. And what's going on? Oh, we've got 501st Pokemon Legion in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yep, popped in earlier.
I just noticed.
Mentioned how I lost my place here. Yeah, mentioned how the co-streamer doesn't like the outbreaks and feels like that kills the game in a way. I guess is practically done with it.
Well, I'm sorry. The outbreak thing was already kind of done. We just relabeled it because if I want to say, yeah, X and Y, when they'd have 4 wild Pokemon could attack you, like pack attacks or whatever, it was already there. So it's nothing fucking new. The only difference is it's a constant regen until it like hits its magic number. But no, as far as Dex complaints, the only ones I really, really, really goddamn hate are the ones that are like, you got to catch a certain size, and then it's like, okay, that feeling of being duped, because it's like, oh, you only have to catch 5. And then you look at how many of that Pokemon you've caught, and it's like, you've only caught 1 light specimen, but you've caught 75 of this Pokemon. Okay. How many have I slaughtered out of frustration? Not enough.
Yep. And that's why when I started approaching the game, I was more about catch now, worry about, the specifics later, because you never know. You might end up meeting more than just one requirement with one particular catch.
Well, that's Weasel's page for you. That one, honest to God, I got a damn near perfect, or was like a mercy give me, because I wasn't even paying attention to it. I was just playing the game, working on other shit, and he just happened to be constantly getting in my way. It was like, literally all I had to do was like find maybe 1 or 2 more of the larger specimen or something like that, and it was like, well, fuck. I can do 1 move and try to catch those and be done with it. The massive mass outbreaks, I haven't gotten to experience yet, but from what I've read, what I've seen of streams of people who have done them, usually seems to always be happening during like some bullshit storm. There's a trick people have been doing where they give the girl with the Munchlax that we meet very early in the game, she'll suddenly start appearing in those camps. You feed her Munchlax like 5 of a certain berry. I forget which berry it is off the top of my head. It will reveal like all the mass outbreak icons, what they are. What people are doing is then they're taking their bird, flying around to all of them, seeing if any of them are shiny, and then restarting, then going to the ones after they've seen which ones they are that they want to even mess with, fucking around with it because they've already saved before they fed the Munchlax the berries. And then they're like, oh, this one had at least 1 Pokemon that was shiny in it of the ones I want. and they like keep a mental note of where those ones are, so they keep going until they get maximize their shiny pull until the storm says it's over. And I'm like, okay. So like 3 or 4 times, and you can apparently keep your berries and shiny hunt maybe 2 or 3 Pokemon at a time. They could be different, could be same, depending on what's in the massive outbreaks. But it just cracks me up that like one of the first things people were losing their shit on was we can't do our shiny hunt trick on the regular outbreaks anymore. I'm like, I was surprised that wasn't part of the life improvements update we got before we got this big one. But we already touched on that subject. So, do we want to mention any of the stuff from the announcements of Pokemon Day's little direct?
Sure thing. We can pull that up. Just give me one moment here to.
He's like, damn it, Josh! I'm trying to catch something. Stop fucking being distracting. This is my show.
I'm mostly just looking at the storage and trying to clear out some. I
gotta do that shit again. But I'm still debating if we need to do that one like simultaneous stream that we were talking about maybe trying to do, where I'm like playing my game, you're playing yours, and then it's like we're basically trying to fill in entries or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Until the end, and then I forget how I pitched the idea at the end. Like, I guess it was like whatever one Pokemon we were gonna work on, and at the end we had to trade to the other person.
Yeah.
By the end, whether we finished the entry or not with it.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm like trying to do 3 screens, like I'm fucking streaming right now. It's like I'm trying to fight a pack of Staraptors off. Talk to you.
While doing talk to us, talk to chat. See, guys, this is how you really do the Pokemon grind. You multitask. But yeah, let's bring up the Pokemon Presents that was just what, yesterday? The day before?
Yeah, it was the 27th. Today is the 28th, I think. I don't know. I haven't looked at a calendar today. I mean, I probably could look at my computer screen looking like one of those corners where it's like the time, the date, the weather.
Mm-hmm.
But this
is just the Pokemon version of the Direct. So
yeah. They're calling it Poke Direct or something.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you something real quick while I'm remembering this. When you go into the PokemonCenter.com site, does it keep doing a reCAPTCHA on you? Like wanting to make sure you're not a robot?
Not that I've seen, but I haven't been to that website in a while.
Like after the stream, after they did their direct, I was like saying, I haven't been to the Pokemon Center site in a while. I wonder what shit they got. All of a sudden, it was like right off the top. Here's a reCAPTCHA to make sure you're not a robot. I'm like, well, last time I checked, I wasn't. I mean, I play a Ghost online, but
you're talking PokemonCenter.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just went there right now. No verification.
That was just weird then.
Yeah, that must have been a one-time thing.
I don't know. I haven't been back there since because I went in there, saw if they had anything new that would have interested me. They didn't, and I was like, okay. Well, that's not completely true. They had something, but I was like, I am not paying that kind of stupid money. If I had that stupid kind of money right now, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, I definitely got to check out the new inventory because Magikarp, Gyarados, Kyogre, and I'm trying to think of what other Pokemon were on my list as far as plushies are concerned. Probably the Machop series.
The Machop series?
Yeah, and Rayquaza, because
the Rayquaza.
That is for my people. I need to represent.
Oh, so now we're playing that card, huh? We're trying to turn Pokemon into instruments of racism. Nice.
No.
I didn't know we were back in freaking junior high. Where I'm sorry, I gotta tell. I'll tell the story after the direct, but it's good. It gave somebody a lifelong nickname they've never been able to live down, and I've crossed their path since since we've been adults and late aged now, and they still get called that, and they still have a grudge against me for it. And I'm like, dude, you walked in that door. I just set it up. I prayed you wouldn't be stupid enough to not catch it. You were not clever enough.
Well,
And that's your fault.
Without playing too much of a ethnic card here, I will say that Rayquaza is totally Quetzalcoatl. So
I care to disagree with that, because there literally is a fossil Pokemon that pretty much is that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I will give you the whole Aztec aesthetic, but I'm not going to give you Quetzalcoatl.
We should turn that into an episode, I think.
No, I think we should just have you and Marshadow just like writing a Rayquaza and have it look like it's agitated. Or it's like got a sweat drop on his head, like, what the hell's going on here?
Like,
like, I'm supposed to be terrifying. Why are there two adorable Pokemon standing on me? Like, shut up and fly!
Shut up and fly. You belong to me.
But what do you can fly? Don't backsass me. You want to go back in the ball? The ball is pain.
This is your home. You're gonna hear me rant like that again too.
Oh no! Fucking next thing you know, he's on like an investigation discovery on one of their shows about how horrible their life was. They, no wonder such and such fucking flew off the handle and murdered people. It's like, well, that's not my fault. I'm just glad now. Apparently, I didn't live there in particular, and that didn't happen to me. And if I was your neighbor, I'd be ashamed of myself.
I have my Onyx plushie right here on my laptop, and it's just looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Okay.
Oh, God.
All my evolutions and my like life scale size freaking Umbreon are packed away right now.
I hope you can share pictures of those one day, because I would like to see those.
Look, one of my like best friends / employer's kids, when she went to Japan, got me from the Pokemon Center, got me a little Eevee and made like this little purse thing to put on it, and it's like packed away too. I was like, oh, they thought of me while they were over in the land of the rising sun. That's so adorable. And they didn't charge me reimbursement like their parents did. And that's not a joke either.
So here we have the Pokemon Presents. I'll go ahead and get this playing here for those who haven't seen it yet. Should I play with the volume on, or should I just leave it off? What do you think?
You can roll them dice as long as it's not super loud. There's like a happy like miniature volume setting that almost where you can faintly hear it, but you can't quite hear it is where you want it to be. Like right now, I can't hear shit of what he's saying. You just went straight to the regular direction and you like find a version of anybody's clip show, huh? Or they like clipped out the relevant stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm in the middle of trying to murder a little regular Gyarados in one of the lakes. I gave it a chance to do freaking Hurricane because I'm tired of how low accuracy that move is. Let's see. This one's going to be... I think they start off with the OS games before they actually... Yeah, they're starting with Go. And there's supposed big plans for that.
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting the Alolan region mons this month.
Well, some of them, if I remember right, the English dub was like, some of them will be available.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, that probably guarantees at least some starters. That's nice.
I want that wall of plushies back there.
I did. Unfortunately, when I had that one infestation problem, I lost a couple of Pokedolls, unfortunately. I had the complete Evolution Pokédoll set. Actually, I need to murder him. Die, you giant freaking ape. Come at me, bro. See, this is a game I was kind of excited for, but then when I looked more into it, I was like, nah, screw this. This is a fucking giant cash grab of microtransactions, and I'm not for it. What is this, Master X or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can get costumed variants of various characters to use. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need Pokey dress up with trainers. Yeah, that's right. Run like a little bitch so I can clop your ass with the back of the head with a Pokemon. I just like how they're trying to make you care about certain trainers that nobody cared for to begin with. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, only one of those I cared about, and then I saw who they paired her with. I'm like, why? Of all the flying Pokemon you could pair this person up with, you gave her the primitive Tornadus, which, if I remember right, originally only way you could get the original 3 Gen Pokemon's primitive forms is you had to pay like I think it was like $5 for this weird like AR game on 3DS to get him to pop into there, catch him, and then transfer him with like Pokemon Home.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Cafe Remix. I always wanted to try this, but then I forgot it existed.
Same.
I was like, I'm not really missing anything. Moving on. But this one at least looks like it'd be a fun microtransaction if you're gonna pay to advance kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it'd be a little fun. As opposed to like Master X, it's like, nah, I'm good. Actually, let's see. Do we want to kill this or do we want to catch this? I should try to catch it because I don't have a good version of it. You can now get a special Bulbasaur as your king, motherfucker. I mean, that's what that is to me. And for those that are curious, my very, very first starter was a Bulbasaur. I named him Rage. He won me many a Pokemon tournament. And Leo, I saw your comment about wanting to send me your original copy of Pokemon Silver. I haven't forgotten about that. And as always, I'm grateful to anybody who's like wants to pass on things like that to me and trust me to be the next caretaker of that story for that item. I mean, shit. One of the first things I packed away and made sure was packed good was the stuff Zombie sent me. I was like, yep, you are being secured. I don't know if I'm ever going to get somebody who's like, hey, I heard these were things from your childhood you wanted. I'm appreciative.
Yeah. Y'all know that's what I'm about.
I mean, at some point, I'm going to try. I already know because in my entire life, I only beat one game. The one game I really wanted that Zombie had sent me once ever in my life. And even then, I'm ballsy enough and honest enough with myself to be like, yep, that was a fluke. So I've never done it again. And that was Little Nemo. Hell, I still have my original VHS copy of that movie that like everybody had their hand in the pot on. So it's like very obvious when there's changes of who was running it kind of things. Oh, it's just a regular Alpha Scyther. I thought it was a shiny one in this pack. Damn it. It misled me.
Have you played Unite at all?
No, because it's it was somebody told me what it was, and it reminded me of like a MOBA, and I was like, nope, I'm not about that MOBA lifestyle. A pack of Scythers want to fuck your day up. What are you gonna? Oh, I'm sorry, my Poke evening in the game. I'm going to send my level 100 Alpha Garchomp to tell him exactly how I feel.
Oh, we got the
There we go.
EDSP here.
This one, everybody needs to, if you have a game, you need to get this because it's kind of an important item to get a very adorable, popular Pokemon. That I remember the special event that they did back in the day to even get that. It was like a Toys R Us event to get get access to it legitly. And we've got Retro Ryan who dropped into our to be a part of the Poke Horde. Let's hope he's got good stats. Zombie, if you have the wrong nature and stats, Zombie might like just throw you back into the Pokey Digital void. Be like, I'll catch another one.
If it's not the nature I need, I'll go back and get another one. Appreciate it, Ryan. Yeah, we're having a good one here. We're talking about all the updates that are coming to Pokemon.
Oh, here
games
we go.
And
Here's the big thing that made changes nobody saw coming.
Yep.
I still haven't gotten a good Zora yet, and I want one.
I haven't even gotten a decent Munchlax.
I had an outbreak of those. I hella used it too. I was like, I looked at my thing because I was gonna be like, do I want to try this shiny Honda Munchlax? I kind of do, but then I caught him and I looked at my dex entry for it. I'm like, this motherfucker just put me down to only 2 tasks from all these grinding ones of how you have to gen it normally. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep this task done and then run through the herd and see if there's one that I like.
Daybreak.
That's what they're calling the thing. I honestly have not been able to. Like, I guess this is like some weird battle thing that's post-game that you can do.
Oh,
like, yeah, look, we can mess with they look kind of derpy.
Although Dialga's already a quadruped, so
out of the two, Dialga's the only one that looks good. The other one, I'm like, wow, it's a penis with horse legs. Could you make him any more phallic looking? You took away his arms. Now he looks like he's a phallic head with 2 testicles on a horse body. Way to go, guys. That was a smart decision. All right.
There you go, guys. For those of you playing who haven't used this password yet,
it nets you 30 of each of those. So it's not like, oh, it's 30 total of the 3. It's 30 each of those 3.
Which trying to craft Ultra and Jet balls is a bitch.
Ultra, Jet, and Gigaton, one of their major problems is they want 2 pieces of iron each.
Yes.
And iron sometimes can be a pain in the ass to farm.
Mm-hmm.
The Tumbler, yes, it can be so-so. Don't you run, Hypini or Happiny or whatever the hell you want to call yourself. Really, I try to stop its run and the fucking thing goes after the ore that it ran past. God damn it. It's like it's trying to make a bolt and I'm like, block. It's like, okay, but I'm going to get this ore first. I'm like, no, block, you bastard, block. We need to murder it for data.
Oh, here's the trailer for Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet. I honestly think we got Violet because they couldn't think of a clever name for another shade of blue that they liked.
I got to admit, when I heard the name Scarlet, I thought of Scarlet Fever. So I was kind of hoping maybe that's the opposite, is some other type of illness.
Nope. When I heard the whole Violet thing, I'm like, finally, they're going to give us a legit... Nobody else can make some bootlegs with that name anymore. The Violet version is now a thing, legitly. Now somebody's going to get a cease and desist order.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, if I ever got one of those from Nintendo, I would frame that shit on my wall. I would literally go out to like Michael's, get a really nice like Hell, I might even have it professionally matted and framed just to hang on my wall and be like, how I am such a small, humble little guy that I drew the ire of fucking Nintendo of all people.
So where do you think this what do you think this region is based off of?
It's based off of Spain.
Oh, is it?
Yep, they already came out and said that.
Oh.
The better question is, what do you think of the 3 starters?
Oh, we're gonna approach that subject.
Somebody's got something to say, apparently. At first, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this, I thought before they like revealed the name, I'm like, oh great, more shit for Sword and Shield. Oh boy.
It would make sense. They're trying to recoup their losses from that.
Sword and Shield was good. I just think their timing on how they handled certain elements of it was poor. Oh, hey, Chris James, welcome. Hope you're doing all right. Okay, let's head back to comp. Actually, head back to camp and change my region. Want to pause that real quick?
Starters. Sure.
Oh, well, once we get to a better all overall shot,
which
we
probably won't.
Yeah, no, we're
I'll
gonna have to wind back a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get back to it.
I would say find a still, but that's way more work than we need to do for this right now.
There we go.
So those are our 3 starters. The Grass Kitty, which I was so hoping it was just a weirdly like ambiguous. Maybe it's a cat, maybe it's a dog. No, they came out and said it's a cat, and I'm like, oh, I was hoping it was gonna be. We were gonna finally get like a wolf evolution.
Weed cat.
Yeah, that's what everyone's been calling it. Its official name, I feel like I remember it because I thought it was so stupid. People are saying its name is Spagat or something like that. And then the fire one is supposed to be like another crocodile type. I honestly thought it was just like some weird derpy Barney-esque dinosaur. I really did. I'm like, on one hand, I was like, yay, we're getting a dino starter. And I was like, but it's going to be it's going to be like, hey, kids. And I'm like, hey, die, motherfucker. 2 to the back of the pokey head. And it's not Pokeballs, motherfucker.
So here we go. Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxly.
So, grass, fire, and water. Now, we could talk about how they look.
Yeah.
And how fast the fan art picked up 2 of them. Like, not much has been done with the fire one. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm like a known ally in certain circles with that of LBGT, but damn, did people like jump on him.
Yep.
And call it. I mean, look at his pose and his hairstyle, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I could give you that.
The fact that he's got like a tank top style shaped feather layout.
Oh yeah. The hair slicked back, the whole posture with his wing and all that shit. I'm like, going, really? That's what we're basing it off of?
The stereotypical biker look from the 80s.
The 80s
seems to be giving them here.
But then we had like the one that like really surged like at the beginning was the little grass cat. Like there were tons of fan art. Now people are starting to finally start doing like their theory of their final form art. It's like, okay. I'm just hoping their subtyping isn't, if they get it, which I think honestly starters these days need to have a subtype. You can't get away with just leaving them pure type anymore.
It's more beneficial that way. They're more useful. You don't feel like you're instantly going to get your butt on as soon as you start the game.
It's not even just that. It's it's more likely you're going to want to keep it in your team as opposed to eventually, well, he's going to live in the box now. Which is generally what happens.
Let me... I found the article I was looking for. I'm going to go ahead and screen share this too. Okay, so...
Oh, no. The Donald Duck thing you're like going on about.
Yeah. So I wasn't the only one, apparently. Okay, Pokemon fans joke Quaxly is actually Donald Duck.
Any reason to make a parallel, I swear.
Fans already posting loads of memes and fan art of the two to hilarious results. Quaxly's design just exudes sass and class. It has one wing on its hip and rocks what appears to be either a voluminous toupee or a stylish beret. I think it's one of those leather caps, in my opinion.
It's probably a beret of some sort, I'm sure. But then if you look at the picture close enough, you can be like, wait, that looks like it's got a hair volume to it. Because the way they did the shine.
Mm-hmm. Yep, right there. And then, of course, fans are saying that he resembles Donald Duck because they both wear blue, they're both white, so on and so forth.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Look at that.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Oh no.
Who's that?
Final form leaked.
Well, it would explain why Black Mage Donald was a badass in Kingdom Hearts all the way through.
Oh, look at this one.
No, come on now.
I like this.
No, that brings me to a different thing that's like not Pokemon related. Did you see the trailer for the Rescue Rangers movie they're putting on Disney Plus?
I have been meaning to watch it, and I have yet to see it through all the way because it always gets interrupted. I'm gonna have to watch it on the toilet, honestly.
Wow.
I always it's like some higher power out there does not want me to see it because every time I try, something goes wrong. And I'm guessing it has to do with the fact that I'm just, a big Chip and Dale's fan. And they're like, no, you can't have pleasure in this. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, look at that, baby Donald.
Well, at one point, Disney was showing their show exclusively. They had the rights. So, I mean...
Pokemon Presents in a nutshell. Thank you for changing my life. I'm literally a duck.
Could be worse.
Oh, these are great. See, there are some times when fan art communities
do
really
some
make
things.
Yes, do some really cool things.
When they go bad, and usually it's the furry art community that makes us all sad.
Yes. I have to constantly be reminded of this because I always forget the number. Rule 34. What is it? Rule something.
There's usually porn of it or there's a gender swap. Those are the rules you need to remember.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to think of when it comes to
I don't remember. They're like 30 something each respectively.
Yeah.
I think it's like 32. I think it's like 32 and 34, but I'm not like super sure, and I'm not going to put myself on there and be like, this is fact.
But I have seen some very disturbing things because of that. So
man,
I know it is. I know it's out there.
There's some terrifying things, man. There are some terrifying things. There are some things that will destroy your childhood forever out there.
I still remember the day somebody was like, "Oh, you got to check DeviantArt out," and I'm like, "What's DeviantArt?" And then I just found a bunch of Princess Sally porn. I'm oh, really?
So this is early before they started policing that shit hard.
Oh yeah, yep.
And somebody went in there with safe search off apparently.
I mean, I'm not one to censor art. I mean, if they want to draw what they want to draw, fine. If you want to put yourself out there and share it, fine. But there are just some things that I'm sitting here thinking, how did you, with a balanced mind, draw that?
Well, actually, how much did you make to do something like that?
Yes, that too.
There's the bigger question you need to be answering. How much of yourself did you sell out to do this image? Because let me tell you, before my hands were all messed up, I could draw really well, and fucking, there were people that approached me, and it was like, I can't look at myself in the mirror for that price to do that. I'm not going to. Thanks for playing.
Okay, so let's see. So here's what I'm finding, just basic, looking up on Games Radar here. We've got Sprigatito. I'm sure it's
It's gonna be a
Spanish or
cat.
Italian, some kind of name. A capricious, attention-seeking grass cat. It's difficult to tell at this point, but there's a touch of mischievous to the cat's design, and the spree is quite close to spirit, leading me to think that this could evolve into a grass ghost type, of which there are only 4 others in the series.
I would hope they wouldn't do ghost skin because that's what made Decidueye so unique. If anything, I kind of want them to give it to like one of the other two. The only thing I can say is, do not give us another fucking firefighting type. I am sick to death of that shit. That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Next up is Fuecoco, a laid-back fire Pokemon that does things at its own pace. The design is little reminiscent of grass dragon type Appleton, but that's likely to be pretty coincidental.
Yeah, I can believe that some of these may have been recycled. They didn't make the cut from the last game. Let's use them here.
Now, this person is saying that they think Quaxly's hat here resembles a delivery or postal service kind of headgear, which maybe I could see that working too, because we do have Delibird, and Delibird has the mailman sack that it wears on the side.
Hey, Delibird was always associated with Santa, motherfucker. Don't try to make him a postal carrier. If anything, it's a damn developer. I would associate more with that.
No, I agree. He's a Santa delivery man, because you can only catch him in Go during December anyway, so it makes sense. Aside from that, not much else has been released on these starters, including what their next tier evolution is going to be. But I'm pretty sure, like you said, I bet you that community is going to take care of what the possible evolutions are going to be.
Dude, somebody already put out some. There's already been some people putting on Twitter that was like popping in my feed that some people did some really cool. They didn't type them or anything, but just like they looked like, well, I could definitely see that. Like somebody went like a Three Musketeer kind of like Sword and Shield's alternate form for Farfetch'd, where he has a saber and a shield kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I could see that happening.
That would be cool.
They went like a dino like croc theme towards the fire one, and the cat was like more of like a fan dancer kind of Ferengi looking dancer type. Mm-hmm. Which, if it was grass fighting, I'd be like, well, shit, that'd be different. I could totally get behind that. And that gives me weird Vega-esque vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of combinations they haven't done with starters that they could do. I'm hoping we'll get decent fossil Pokemon this time and not the bullshit they kind of did in Sword and Shield, where I was like, I like the reference to how back at very early finding the fossil discovery of dinosaurs and shit, people not necessarily were putting proper bones together and were making creatures that never existed kind of gimmick. But I just didn't care for the look of the Pokemon. It's like, gotcha. Okay, it did nothing for me in Pokemon. I was like, come on, man. because it was like they tried to do a very Frankenstein-esque, like you could tell they were not supposed to be parts, and now there's this creature revived with these parts that's acting like it's normal. I'm like, no, dude. If this was real, that fucker would be struggling.
uh, well, we kind of just, wanted to touch grounds with a little bit of what's, the buzz in the Pokemon right now. Obviously,
Tons
this
of spaghetto or whatever its name is.
Spicacci. Well, how the hell you say
The
it?
little weed kitty is like gotten tons of different styles of art. It's like
Yeah,
the number one most drawn one I've seen of the
weird
three.
kitty.
Somebody did
Well,
do a really, like, it wasn't amazing art that I saw. It was like very low quality, but it was you could tell it was it and Litten, and you could tell that the grass kitty was already high, had a little weed joint in his mouth, and the other cat had a joint in its mouth. I'm like going,
oh, cute.
like, man, if you're gonna make a joke like that, at least put some effort.
Cool. Well, I'm really glad that we took the time to do this because I think that as far as Pokemon content creators go, I mean they're a dime a dozen. You're a PokeTuber, uh, it's kind of its own label, its own thing, and it's kind of like a subgroup within a group anyway.
It's a
But
group within a group within a group within a shrine.
yeah, I would say that. Um, but one thing that I really, really want to convey is whereas we're having fun with this game, those of us who are in Discord chatting it up with us, like Hector, Moses, and a few others, while we're having fun playing this game, we're also kind of, testing a lot of the PokeTuber content that's out there that's just trying to hook people for clicks. And I've kind of been annoyed with it because of the fact that a lot of it is misleading and is taking away from the fun of the game because people put so much effort into believing these videos, attempting everything that they're doing and are coming up short. So while we're playing the game, we're testing a lot of that. We're sharing with each other, hey, this doesn't work. What this person's saying is garbage. I'm at the point where I may even put up just random little tip videos for people who are struggling with some of the research tasks, what we've done to kind of alleviate that. Early on, I mentioned I saw a video where somebody was really, really complaining about the some of the Pokemon that are the toughest to catch and are the most difficult to do the research tasks for, and we've already cracked a majority of those. So it's been fun doing that on our time, and we all love sharing our pictures of Pokemon that we've caught in the game. We love sharing our tips and whatnot. If that's something that eventually starts to pick up, maybe I'll start making a video here and there on that. Josh, if you want to do that too. Um, I just think it's cool that we kind of kill the garbage that's out there and actually show people how it's done. You know.
Let's see. I got no problem. I'm more than happy, and during my streams, I'll be like, "Hey, this is how you do that. Fuck this guy."
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because I think it kills the possible prospects of people actually enjoying this game and are just, not playing it because somebody on YouTube says, "Oh, well, this is too hard to do." Or if I can't do it, nobody can. Because I think that's a bunch of BS. I laughed half the time at the video I was watching because they're talking about like, "Oh, trying to do the Magikarp thing is tough." There was an actual article on that I shared in Discord that I just could not help but laugh at. It's like you
dude, I
really
figured
can't.
that shit out in like 2 fucking minutes, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
And it's
do
not
this."
arrogant. It's not arrogance here, guys. Let me clear that up. It's just the fact that a lot of people are looking at this game, are looking at the research tasks and not fully comprehending what the actual statement says. When it says, observe Magikarp do splash 100 times, it doesn't say observe your Magikarp do splash 100 times. It just says watch a Magikarp do it. which means it combines yours and the rival Magikarp you're splashing against.
Yep.
And I've come across a lot of hate articles uh, based on things like that. So rather than let people just kind of yell out BS and kill the game for other people, I kind of want to be the one to defend and say, hey, it's really not that difficult. We cracked the code in like 10 minutes. It didn't make us feel like, oh my God, this sucks. I'll admit, some research tasks are daunting.
Oh man.
You know,
There are some, and like I said, my biggest complaint is the one that it's not as cut and dry as I feel like it should be with being able to identify what's tall, what's not.
hmm yeah, those little minor specifics I think are a bit too nitpicky for this game, especially when you can't go up to them and observe them with a magnifying glass. Like, oh, how can I tell if this is male and female? Will it let me look down there and see where its genitals are so I can see what it is? No. But little nitpicky ones like that, or the ones like Combees where you have to have it fall out of a tree 40 times when that is just completely random. Those kinds of tasks are on the technical side daunting. Like those are the ones you
Oh,
don't have
big
fun with.
time. Big
Yeah.
time.
But
Those
these
are just
other
the
ones,
ones that are done that you'll eventually accomplish over time, unless you specifically are like, I need to do this one.
hmm but these other ones that people are complaining about, don't let those get to you if you're just starting the game or you're already, kind of getting your feet wet with it because they're full of crap. Pokemon can be caught, Pokemon can be leveled, you can find the right natures, you can do all these things that people are complaining about. It just requires a little bit of effort. That's all.
It's just about how you get your instant gratification. That's really what it is. Is somebody wanted to be like, I want a Gyarados and a perfect page. Well, you got to do the work for to make a perfect page and then get the Gyarados.
You sure do. But
Now,
apparently
Gyarados
that's
page is kind of a fucking annoying because it's a move with like really low accuracy and very. If you try to do it yourself, it's like I think Hurricane's only 5 times you can use it.
yeah, that's a daunting kind of technical one where if we can't increase the PP of a move, then why make it so damn high?
Well, the idea is you're gonna probably take it, figure
With
out
you.
like common sense of either over time I'll use it or I'm just gonna go Gyarados hunting because I want a red Gyarados, and eventually you'll fucking try to make it gen by murdering all the Gyarados. So eventually you'll see it enough damn times.
Maybe they put those in there because they knew hardcore players like us would crack the code and be like, "Well, we got to find some way to slow them down."
Are you kidding me? I took at one point just to help my Hurricane count. I took poor innocent Pokemon I knew stood absolutely no chance of getting a first strike on a Gyarados. Just to see if I get it to do before I took the Pokemon that was in the team that was like, you die now. Just to see if I could get it to do Hurricane a few times so I didn't have to waste my Hurricane and go back and be like, oh, I didn't submit the item just to recharge this move. I gotta go all the way back and come all the way back here.
This goes to show you, man, that instant gratification crap has
It's
no
real.
place. It's real, yeah, but it has no place in games like this.
Oh,
You're supposed to be able to enjoy it. You're supposed to be able to kind of like flesh it out in your own way, you know. Granted, we're finding ways to, speed up the dex process, but we're still having fun too at the same time.
I mean, there's some I will say they made a point to make sure you can't just fulfill the task and say, because the game will register like if you trade me a Pokemon, they'll say, "Oh, I caught it," even though I sent it back to you. They do things like you need to have, I think specifically why you have to have it like a certain number at a certain time to avoid that kind of stuff. Because there are people that would just be like, okay, trade, 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 trade. Oh, look, I caught 26 of this Pokemon.
hmm
I mean, let's be honest, there are people who, for no reason, collect Switches just because the Joy-Cons are different.
Yeah, the very, very, oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Eclectic
Obsessive.
collector or obsessive collector?
I'm more of the obsessive compulsive disorder type, but hey, To each their own.
Right. I mean, I want special edition.
I wouldn't mind having a special edition, but I'm not going to go
too.
out of my way to have every single one just because one had a different paddle on it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, if anybody wants to chime in on anything that we have talked about, anything that we saw in the Pokemon Presents, feel free to message us in the chat. We can send you a link so you can have some time to cast your thoughts and opinions live with us. I'll keep the.
Here's a fun question for you right now.
Uh-oh. What's that?
What is your favorite starter evolution of the Hisui or Hisui or however you want to enunciate the area here?
What are my favorite starters?
What is your favorite variant, like final form of the starter?
That would have to be Samurott.
See, Samurott, I didn't feel like they made enough changes to him to warrant like me thinking, oh yeah. Mind you, out of the three, he probably would have been my second preferred choice, given what we were working with. I really liked Decidueye in his original game. I could not get behind the look for him in this game. I think he's actually a grass fighting, but I just did not like the look of him. I was like, nope, you visually do not appeal to me.
Yeah, he is kind of, I don't know how to, stocky looking, I guess you could say.
It's like they had a great idea and had no idea how to execute it.
And Typhlosion looks like he's high.
No, he's an emo kid. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's got that emo. He's got that emo haircut. I'm just happy that he's an example of we finally get a Pokemon who deserved at least either a new evolution or at least finally giving them a subtype. Because he was pure fire for way too long, and the game was changing where being a pure fire type was like basically okay. Here's a cigarette and here's a blindfold. Go stand out here and wait to die.
Yeah. So I guess now it's elemental fire goth.
He's all emo and he's a cutter Pokemon now. He's all sitting there. Lowest life. It's like, dude, be goth and despise everything. Not, don't internalize it.
Spoilers alert! I'm gonna show a picture of him right now, but I'm laughing too much at just the idea that I could see emo being an actual Pokemon type just based off this guy's look as it is. It's so bad.
Training is pain. Every breath I take outside the Pokeball cuts me like a knife.
What's the point of getting back in a Pokeball? We're all gonna die anyway.
What's the point of evolving me when you're just gonna get me knocked the fuck out again? Stop healing me. I hate you, Dad. You're going, I'm not your dad, motherfucker.
I'm not your dad. Your dad knocked up your mom and left you in the wildness.
No, your mom shot an egg out, and 9 weeks later you came.
I mean, seriously,
we don't even know who your dad is. For all we know, it could be a puddle of slime.
Why did they feel this was like? Because Typhlosion looks mean as hell in his original form. Like he looks like he could.
I actually like your ass. Claims. I just didn't care for the weird little emo curls by his eyes. Like, what the fuck was that about?
Oh, these right here.
It's like, okay, yeah, I get behind the ears being a little drooped down because, yeah, he's kind of a ghost. So you kind of want to have that lackluster and not his lively energy. But the weird little waves, little wave thing, is like, okay, he's got a comb over.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, seriously, look at him. He's just like.
Oh, you didn't find one where his flame main's actually up.
he stands there like life has no meaning. It's so bad.
It's like, you're just gonna go back in that time rift and I'm gonna be all alone.
Now, before I try to find another picture of him, I'm gonna see if I can get Oshawott up here, because while not drastically different from his normal form, the reason why I like this one so much
He's got
is
less armor and he's like dark colored, like he's the black samurai. And I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, here, let me get some bleach and wipe off that dirt off your face.
Like, this is Oda Nobunaga level of samurai here. Like, I love it. I love how mean he looks. I would say Nobunaga, or I would say Lu Bu from Dynasty Warriors.
I would give more Nobunaga because of the more samurai aesthetic.
Samurai, yeah.
And Lu Bu is more of a China dynasty kind of fighter. He's
Mm-hmm.
more, so it's like two different cultures.
Yeah.
I mean, the way his whiskers to that tail look from the angle makes it look like he's got a bunch of weapons, but he doesn't. But it's like he doesn't have as much. It's like he almost seems like he's a little anemic to me compared to a regular samurai.
Yeah, the armor they gave Samurott is definitely thicker looking and heavier looking, in my opinion. He does look kind of malnourished a bit.
Like, hey, we're samurai on a budget.
Right? Now let's take a look at the other one.
The Decidueye, who's like, I mean, certain parts of him I really enjoyed. Like, I forget who was supposed to be somebody. The reason I ended up with Typhlosion is because they said they were playing the grass starter. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'll play the fire one then.
Yeah.
And it's like, because usually I always play grass starter, even if they look like shit. But it's like his legs seem so goddamn long to the rest of him. Like, he should not be that tall.
He definitely looks like he gets high off his own supply.
That particular, I've seen a different picture where it's like, I guess the shiny looks way better than the original for him, but it's just like, eh.
He almost reminds me of Skull Kid with his long legs and his kind of lanky limbs and height. He kind of reminds me of Skull Kid.
It's like, I liked the more like Robin Hood esseness of his original appearance, because it like worked really well. Like, okay, yeah, a ghost grass owl is way cooler than just, and that is a alpha fucking Turtwig right there. I think I'm gonna go fuck with it.
Let me grab a picture of his.
And final form. But no, if you look at the flame mane on the Hisui version of Typhlosion, it's like it looks cool. The colors I like the colors to his body color. It's just I don't know about why they made the flame licks look that way. It's like, eh. It's like, why would you do that to yourself? Who hurt you and why?
Oh boy, there's the DeviantArt.
Uh-oh. Somebody went down the wrong alley, apparently.
Nope.
Holy shit.
So we'll just use this Bulbapedia image because...
Oh, yeah. Bulbapedia tends to use more official art than they do
fan
art.
Go
fan art.
This is cool. They've actually got the comparisons of both forms in the same page. That's pretty awesome.
That's helpful. So yeah, like you look at him, it's like the top one is his original form, which I actually like. In my game,
yeah, this one here,
I named mine Folklore because I was like, it looked badass to me. I was like, that's amazing. I mean, he wasn't like super great like in late game for any like major shit, like, but he was a fun Pokemon. I liked him. And that's about the time I noticed they were starting to give starters finally their own like signature move, instead, like as if they were a legendary, as opposed to just they learn everything like everybody else, except if you go to this special trainer somewhere that has the equivalent of fucking hyper beam or whatever for them to learn.
So here's,
and we've got Kamikaze Ikun is up in here.
yeah, what's up, Ikun? Here's my boy Samurott.
Samurott.
And if I ever decide to evolve my starter, which I have not done, because I want.
See how like in the chest area, he's like way bulkier and more like he should be looking heavy ass armor. But then you look at his other one, it's like, I'm so anemic. They haven't fed me in weeks.
Yeah, if I ever evolve mine, I'm definitely naming him Nobunaga or Oda.
Oda rhymes with soda. Totally should name it that now. Oda Soda.
Oda Soda. Yeah, see, he is a bit stockier in this one. Bulkier.
But it's like his shoulder armor and shit's smaller though.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the head crest on the Hisui version though. I really do. It's just with him, I feel like they decided to make a shiny a standard. I forget what his shiny actually looks like, but I think he's like one of those ones where it's like very hard to tell a difference. Oh, and here's a heads up. Don't let any motherfucker tell you that they started the game with their starter being shiny, because in this game, they're shiny locked, meaning your very first version of that Pokemon, no matter what you do, no matter how many times you reset it, it will always be the OG starter color. Now, supposedly, eventually, you're able to get an outbreak or something where you'll be able to catch the starters in the wild. But, well, the starters for the Hisui region, I mean, Piplup, Turtwig, and Chimchar, there's spots within the game that you can catch them. Like, no problem. You just have to know where they are.
I've caught Chimchar and Monfernos already. I started spam catching Munchlax yesterday as I was going around the Deer Track Heights area. I found that if you catch one in a specific part, go back to the camp, rest, and then go to the opposite part of the same area, you have a higher chance of running into it again. So I was trying to do this constant loop around the same circle area where I've seen them.
I found that spot you were talking about when I was like, where the hell did you find one? Because you were like, oh, I have a Chimchar. I'm like, where the fuck did you find a Chimchar this early in the game? I finally found that spot, and when I found a Chimchar there, it was freaking an alpha Chimchar. I'm like, okay, we can do this.
Nice.
Mind you, he's not good nature, but I'm like, what the fuck ever? It's an alpha Chimchar. Now I just need an alpha Monferno, and I have an alpha set, regardless of whether they have good natures or not.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Ikun. We're actually we're doing a comparison look at the starter's original form and then their new form. So here we have the original Typhlosion, which again looks like a mean ass, Pokemon.
One-eyed Wonder Weasel with chlamydia.
And now, as Josh puts it, here's the emo form.
Life is so painful. Why do I exist? Who did this to me and why? Being trained is pain. Every breath I take makes me question my existence. It's like it makes it look like you want to give him a razor blade and tell him how to properly cut his wrist the right way for effect, not for attention.
Jesus.
Am I wrong?
Would you?
Do you know how many emo cutters I knew that were like, I tried to kill myself, and I asked them point blank, okay, did you cut for attention, or were you actually trying to do and they straight up looked me in the eye dropped the whole attention emo tone, asked me what the difference was. And I was like, how are you going to try to commit suicide for attention and not know which one is the you're fucked and you will definitely die if you don't seek attention, and which is, well, there's a chance, but it's not very likely. It's mostly for attention cut.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, but I'm not going to say that on air because that's not okay.
Yeah.
I don't condone such things, but it's like,
Neither do I, but I get what you're saying.
If you're gonna do it fucking right. Don't come to me for attention with some bullshit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've dealt with a few, but not many. And most of them did it or wanted to do it for attention. And it's like, don't waste my time, because I'd rather be listening to somebody who has legitimate fears and concerns and wants help, rather than, oh, you just want a pity party. Nope. I got better places to direct my energy.
That. And then you're trying to guilt me because you didn't do your schoolwork or something while you were doing this. So you're hoping I'll just be this nice guy and give you the answers or something. I'm like, no, I will never give you the answer. Where we stand, regardless, I will help you get there yourself, but I will never give you just straight out here copy my shit.
Right. Yeah, I kind of agree that he's got like this almost Robert Smith kind of goth emo look going here. A lot better.
Look at his how his tail runs off at the end. If you don't really even notice the game and shit, it's like he's just like, I kind of brushed my tail like this on purpose. Like there are people who actually take stock in trying to make it look like they fell out of bed. Then there's motherfuckers like me who most times that's just how their hair falls when they get out of bed. It don't matter how many times they brush their hair. That's just how it fucking sits. So they have to cut that shit.
Can you imagine if like you used it and it's like,
oh god, imagine if they had HMs in here and you taught it cut.
It hurt itself.
I mean, you would have such a hard time playing the game with it because you'd be like laughing too hard, going, "Oh, now I gotta get my Pokemon therapy just because one little bush won't fucking let me walk around it."
Yeah, like it wouldn't even say in confusion. It would just say, it hurt itself on purpose or something like that.
Oh no, cut used it cut for some reason did recoil damage.
Recoil damage.
Straight up, just recoil damage. You're like, and this is why we don't teach you that now. You can't teach it Rock Smash because now it's trying to cut itself with fucking the shards of the rocks. Like, god damn it, Typhlosion. Fucking get back on your Pokemeds and don't give me no, oh, you have Pokerest bullshit.
Emoflosion used Ember. It decided to use Rest instead.
No, Fire Blast has a new meaning.
Oh, damn.
All of a sudden, he's got a cigarette. You're like, wait a minute. I told you to use Ember. Yeah, I am using Ember. I'm flicking an Ember from my smoke.
Good times, good times. Well, Chris James said he appreciates the laughs.
I mean, Samurai looks like he just wants to go to war so bad, but he got kicked out of the gym too early and drafted early.
Yeah, like he wasn't ready for it.
Like he was a mercy enlister. Like I was with the Marines. What regiment? Oh, I was the guy that was in charge of the stock of food at home in Washington. Okay, and you're badass how? You saw, how does this qualify as you saw action and I should be like, oh, you poor veteran.
Right.
I mean, there's some people that literally try to use that and it pisses me off because my stepdad had PSTD to some extent. And he saw action and stuff and was a Marine and got like fucked up from it. And it's like, that's not, he never once wanted to like milk the system or anything. And he was fully entitled to it. And then there's these people that are like, oh, I was on the homeland and go see nearly anything. Wasn't forced to participate in things you didn't agree with, trying to take advantage. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And there are people that walk around with fake suits on trying to
It's like a whole
garner.
different version of stolen valor.
Yeah.
Man, the most he ever did was he used his problems and his status to finally push getting a disabled placard and plate for his car. Because he was starting to have problems with his back, being able to walk long distances in the parking lot. And even then, he didn't always park in the fucking handicap, which says something, let me tell you.
Gonna put this picture back up. We have a better one.
Oh, look,
here.
no, it's just Decidueye trying to act like he's shiny Decidueye acting like he's trying to flex.
At least this one is a better picture for sure.
It still doesn't do it. Still doesn't sell me on him. Because if
Oh
you
my
look
god,
at it, he's like trying to look like the original, and it's like he does not look like the original.
look at what Ikun said. I totally see this happening too.
Yeah, right. He wishes he was cool enough to hang out with the goth kid that's fucking Absol. Absol's the one going explaining the difference between goth and emo.
Yeah, with his little hair frill over his eye.
He's like, see, he's upset because the world's fucked up. Emos think the world, they're mad and upset because they think they're fucked up. One's narcissistic, the other isn't. And I'm like, okay, I can totally agree with this. I mean, in practice, I was a goth kid, but eventually I'm sorry, I don't care how hardcore you try to say you're something in your life, you will, no matter what you do, you will eventually grow past it or change in some way. The only thing I can ever agree with is Hot Topic is not punk rock.
No. And Hot Topic, it's funny that we were seeing that store pop up in episodes of Young Sheldon, and of course the South Park episode is hilarious. And Cutie Bat and I used to shop at Hot Topic back before it became what it is today.
Oh, I remember shopping there. We're all guilty of it at some point.
Yeah. And
for me, it was they had my size of printed cool shirts. Yeah, my ex-fiance liked wearing a certain style of pants that fucking you could only find there.
My uncle got his ruffled vampire shirt from one of those.
Oh God! You better been hitting that motherfucker with a hand fan. I swear to God! You better been calling him Lestat every time you walked in the room with that shit.
Oh, we made fun of him, but also he did it because at the time in WWF, Gangrel and the Brood were popular.
So I don't care what you say.
He was all
I would have been like, okay, Lestat, that's enough. The interview's over. Are you kidding me? Anytime I see those puffy pirate-esque shirts, I fucking like, man, I wish I had a hand fan right now. Or just a fan in general, just put right next to you.
Gotta quote Jerry Seinfeld on that one. I don't want to be a pirate.
Fine, you can be a Pinjo. Let's move on. Especially nowadays, man, with the whole you need to be wearing a mask when you go out.
Oh boy.
Totally be like, there's a surge in Pinjas. That's like fucking going to a bank, and I'm sorry, I'm glad I am not a bank teller in these times right now. Because it's like, okay, you have to be like stressed to the max when you think about this. When somebody comes inside and they're wearing a mask now, it's like, are they robbing us or are they following the pandemic guidelines?
Right.
Is this gonna be that day I have to wonder if this bulletproof glass is going to hold out? They haven't like cased the joint previously. They are not going to use bullet punch on the glass.
All right. Well, we've hit the 2.5 hour mark, which is a lot longer than I thought we were going to. In all honesty,
we like even in the first 5 minutes we were completely unrelated to Pokemon talk. What are we talking about? It was bad.
This is a pilot episode, we kind of came up with
like we are never again being unscripted, motherfucker. If you're on my Poke show, your bitch ass better do work.
I would rather be unscripted than scripted because it doesn't feel as real. It doesn't feel
But
authentic
what
to
I
me.
mean by scripted is there's some guidelines, motherfucker. You need to be on these topics.
Well, maybe, but then again, I mean, we see that with other podcasts that are just as cool. So
Even that whole emulation, huh?
Tangents tangents are natural. Let's be real. Tangents are natural. And either way, we found a way to bring it back to what our subject matter today was anyhow. So, but
Zombies all trying to be all, I'll make it better. I'll use psychic powers and make everyone believe we were totally on point.
that's right. From now on, you don't remember the past 2.5 hours.
There was no
Child's
Josh Shadow
play.
here. He was never here.
We're just a figment of your dreams right now.
I don't know about that. That carries a lot of responsibility I don't want.
Well, I guess if you don't dream eater somebody, maybe.
It's not even that. It's just being in somebody's head is a lot of responsibility.
True. You can always be overcome by what you see.
It's not even that. You don't want to have to be in group therapy with them and then hearing how you're the bad person or you're a split personality. Then you get an identity crisis.
But
No,
I do want to thank all you guys for tuning in. From whether you were here the entire time, came in late, came in early, had to bolt, whatever the case is. We're realists. We know you guys have things you need to do at the same time, but we appreciate everybody coming in, chiming in, saying what you want to say about your experiences with the game, Pokemon in general. If this is something that you guys want to see happen regularly, let me know in the Discord and on Twitter, because you guys know how to reach me there for the Retroactive Trio podcast, alongside just my normal stream in general. And we can always revisit this idea. We wanted to kind of give this a try and see what you all had to say about anything Pokemon, not just Arceus. But we'll revisit some of these topics and take a look at what we like as this series on a whole versus what are our favorites among the series, and just kind of get the conversation going with topics like that. And if you were curious about the Pokemon Direct, it is in the later part of the live stream if you want to go back and watch that. Otherwise, it's online. And if you guys would like to join us next time, let me know. I kind of opened the forum a little bit to kind of bring people in to say a few things, and it's cool. No takers yet. I'm not offended by that.
Turn off. What can you say? All this with Zombie pretty much saying, if I need to capture a Joshmon, you need to let me know. That's a lot of work and a lot of Pokeballs. Not to mention, I might have to throw a Zombox or something at him and be like, that's right, go to that Zombox. Go there.
You're feeding me berries now?
What the hell? What the hell? Why is there a Barbie game in here? Oh no, he's alerted. Shit, throw another one at him.
Yeah, that'll make me go aggro quick.
What the hell are these shovelware? What are these shovelware games Zombie put in this box trying to think I'm not going to be aware something's up?
Throw a platinum my way. I'll go after that thing like a Munchlax at the berry shoot.
Now, there's a topic for another time.
What's that?
How hard it is to tell legit cards like that, because DS is unfortunately a very high counterfeit market right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I can't afford to buy. That's why I can't afford to buy Heart Gold or Soul Silver, because I'm guaranteed to run into a counterfeit.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that you have to be comfortable with. Like, if I get a good deal, can I get a good enough deal that I'm not going to be like, yeah, this is probably fucking fake, and care. Is what I think that would come down to. It's when you get. What's up?
Ekun's making a suggestion here. Sometime we should discuss your favorite shinies.
There's a discussion. We've had that discussion already, not on a stream.
Yep, we have, but that's one we can revisit. And Ekun, if you want to join us for that, let me know what your availability is.
Okay, I'm gonna make this easy. If you want us to revisit this and be a duo again, you need to put in Hashtag catch Josh. Or Josh Shadow. Let's make this easy. Since I'm represented as a Marshadow, if you see the little art thing we have here.
Here, yeah, let's do that.
Hashtag catch Josh Shadow. And there you go. That will make Zombie happy to know he needs to use his zombie powers to try to get me.
There we go.
I'm an adorable ghost bear. Rawr. Seeing me is like the fucking a bad sign kind of deal.
And I look like Mew if he was in the Ramones.
Not even. You're like that. You're like that. I grew my hair to help out another Pokemon, but I just didn't come around to it. I've been kind of busy. Then I got picked up by Hollywood and Disney. Leave me alone.
I am not shallow like that.
You see these aviator glasses? They're name brand. What are you doing? I'm just Marshadow. I'm kind of just here. People are never happy to see me.
Not emo like Cyndaquil, but you're just like, yeah, I'm here.
Dude, I'm generally in person a lot more quiet when I have nothing to talk about or have nothing to add to a conversation that I literally scare people like that Marshadow would in the anime and stuff. It's like, yeah, I could totally relate to this poor adorable bear. I exist, but I've got all this shit some shit I never said myself being at the forefront of everyone's mind. What does it want? Why is it scaring us? I just want to talk.
Well, either way, I'm glad to see you, man. I'm glad to have done this with you today too, because it was pretty fun.
Victory Leo literally spelled out hashtag.
That is awesome.
It's like it's # hashtag catch Josh Shadow. Like, what? I'm like honored that he's the first to want me back here with this project, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, that's covering your bases level right there, man.
See? That's what I'm telling you, man. We just gotta knock out cool shit like this, and just kind of do our own thing with it. And if you're not available for a podcast, that's okay. I can always ask guests to come on. But this is
it's called planning. It's planning time and dealing with that great thing we all forget: time zones.
Yep, exactly. And also because I don't want to go over Geeks with Cash's stream because I love watching them every other Monday. So maybe that too. Maybe we can switch it up. Maybe we can do it every other Monday if that's easier.
So we could just do it bi-weekly. It'd give us time for new Pokemon stuff to show up.
Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. But it looks like we've already got a few topics suggested. I'm down for talking about favorite shinies in 2 weeks with Ikun.
I can do that.
Yeah. And we'll just showcase a couple and kind of say, what our thoughts on them, and why the fuck does Chansey look like she's sick?
No comment. I have no comment at this time.
But anyway, guys, that's the show for tonight. Thank you all for being here. I gotta kind of relax a little bit and rest so that way I can go to this thing called my job tomorrow, even though I don't look forward to it. But 2 more weeks.
I just gotta get some rest and some food, and be ready to do that thing I do every day, adulting, and hope I get a job call in.
Yep, I got an adult too. Luckily, kiddo's asleep, but that don't change anything.
He's like, I heard you pokecasted with Josh without me.
Well, he was supposed to join us today, but sadly, he let his behavior get the best of him. So.
Look, I'm just hoping you're not going to wake up and he's just sitting there and he rubs your cheek or something. He says, shh, go back to sleep. And he's just sitting in a rocking chair across the room and you're just kind of terrified.
Oh, are you kidding me? He's already scared Cutie like that before. Because he has this habit where, how most kids will either get up and watch TV in the morning or they'll stay asleep as long as possible. He will get up at 5 in the morning, come sit in the living room on the couch and just sit there.
Yep. I can relate.
we've woken up to that before, and we're like, "What are you doing?" You know, like, "Why aren't you asleep still?" Or, you know, "Why aren't you doing anything? Why aren't you in your room playing while we're sleeping?" You know? And he just comes out here and he does the whole creepy kid thing from time to time.
Creepy kid thing. Look, if he ever says
So
they're here, then you know what you have to do. And no, I'm not available to make a road trip to talk to him.
well, there's always Discord. There's always live streams because he thinks that you guys can hear him if I'm watching a live stream, and I'm like, no, son, they can't hear us. Otherwise, we'd be on mic with them.
Oh no. It's called it's called Josh figured out good settings and told me which ones to use. You got canceled. Blink. No
Well,
joke
that's
there.
what he does, Leo. That's literally what he does. He will get up, come to the living room, wait for us to wake up, but he'll sit in the dark living room by himself.
Look, just hope that he doesn't become like me, because I used to do things similar to that when I was little. He becomes a giant where you should be able to easily see him in a crowd, and yet you can't hear him coming. He's very quiet. He'll either blend and get lost in the crowd, or he'll come right up on you and you'll freak the shit out. Because your mind does not rationalize that something that big should not be that quiet.
Yep, I got that treatment at work. But that's because I know where the creaks and the floorboards are, so I always walked around them and nobody
Oh
could
no, I
hear me.
walked straight across that shit and it still didn't do anything. There's a reason that people at my last job called me Taker.
Nice. That's a badge of honor. I like that. I did that when I was younger, but at the kitchen table eating a bowl of cereal. Yep. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind if I got up and he already made breakfast, but he doesn't know how to do that for himself yet. So, nonetheless, I love my son. I love his little creepy behaviors at times, you know.
Just wait for the moment.
Someone other than me has to be creepy in his household, you know, because I'll admit when I get out of the shower, I look like the ring girl. Or the ghost from Ju-on. Y'all have seen me live stream Ju-on with the makeup on, so. But
Nope.
thank you all for being here, guys. We're gonna call it a night. I'll probably get
Alrighty.
something to eat before I take it easy. Maybe play a little bit more of Arceus. And Josh, you got any final words?
Marshadow.
Nice. I guess I could do the Mew sound, but that's too painful.
Oh, dude, I could do Mew. I used to do Mew. I think I might be able to do it. Give me a second.
I'd have to hydrate.
Give me a second here. I'm gonna try. I don't have any hydration, but I'm gonna try.
Oh my gosh, Mew's mad.
Oh, dude, I quote unquote. I'll tell that story another time. But needless to say, apparently somebody claimed I ruined their childhood. So, and Mew was involved. So, it is actually hilarious. Okay, it's a great story.
Right.
We'll save that for next time.
Either our next stream or yours or what have you. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh no, it'll probably be if I'm back for another Poke stream. The Arc cast, I'll definitely share it then.
All right, everybody. Y'all take care. We'll catch you later and join us for the next episode. Y'all have a good one.
Later.